There we are. We are live. Welcome, Saber friends and Saber neighbors. It's Space Windu from Civilized Sabers and Jedi Arms Dealer. We're going to be joined by Gabe in a little bit, and also Mundo for Mundo Monday. It's a live stream on Civilized Sabers, but it's also Mundo Monday. If you're looking for Mundo on a Monday, you could look here on Civilized Sabers channel. He's got his own channel, Mundo Cabrera. He's got a channel with the our comic book channel, Orange Book Comics. Sometimes he's on there. So check for Mundo on a Monday. He's usually live on a Monday night. Let's see who's in here. Megtooth Sith, stop by. I'm off work. Belled the stream. Well, thank you.
What's up, Tom?
We could have some. We almost had some questions for Tom, but I think we fixed our Profi issues for the time being. Jim Smith says 10 minutes to go. Thanks for being here, Jim. 5 minutes. We have some questions for you too. Alec Espinosa is here. What's going on? Welcome. Eric R is here. What's going on, Eric? Jim Smith says greetings. Yeah, we thought we'd come on and like answer some questions. Gabe had collected some questions about Civilized Sabers blades, but feel free to post a question about anything in the chat. We will try to answer it for you. Gabe's going to bring some questions from like Instagram, Facebook, and after this video, what I'll do is I'll break it down into like the separated questions and kind of post shorter videos of us answering whatever we could answer just in a smaller time frame. Chet Osborne is here. Hey guys, happy Monday, Chet. Good to see you,
Chet.
John Collector's Outpost is here. What's up, my friends? What's going on, buddy? Thanks for doing those recent videos about the TriStar. That's pretty awesome to see. I had a lot of fun watching those videos. I got some ideas for you too, about some future videos. I think that would be cool. BK Saber Sounds is here. Your ears must have been ringing. We were just talking about you. Because Gabe got a BK Saber Sounds font, and he was just loading it up on his Saber like 10 minutes ago. Did Gabe get his Profi Saber working from the last stream? Yes, yeah, and we both got
pro now.
Issues kind of worked out. Yeah, like
all three of us.
Mine, yeah. Like I fixed mine by updating to like the latest because I have a pretty new computer. It's a Mac, and I kind of updated to the latest. Like my computer's already updated to like latest operating system, which required me to actually get the latest like Arduino software. Once I did that, Jedi Arms Dealer helped me kind of figure out the new interface because it like looks different. But once we did that, we got connection for both Profi Board V1 and Profi Board V2. So I am like good to go right now. And I fixed I had a problem with my Profi Saber, so I couldn't like go too far, but I just fixed my Profi Saber problem too. And you fixed your Profi Saber problem, didn't you, Jedi Arms Dealer?
Yeah. Just a weird learning thing about a DC motor, how the Profi views crystal chamber motors, but it's working great now. Just had to be rewired, just that part of it.
And you were about to like open up a package. Do you want to open up?
Oh yeah,
got in the mail. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but we thought it was I thought it was Saber related. So I said, we'll wait until the stream and open it on stream.
It is. I'm pretty sure I know what's in here. Is Jim still in here? Jim Smith?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Felicia's in here too. Where did I skip? Oh, there's Felicia. What's going on, Felicia? How are you doing tonight? Glad you're here.
Box.
Yeah, we got a little box we're opening up. It's a Saber related product. We're gonna take a look at it. Might have a question for Jim once this is opened up. John says I need to learn Profi. Yeah, it seems like once you once you do it a few times, like that's how it took me about 4 times to like kind of understand it. Gabe took to it quicker. He seemed to understand it faster than me. But it's kind of fun to like go through. Like right now I'm going through and picking all my blade styles for a Saber I'm making for Armando. It's been done. Saber's been kind of done for a while. Then I had to repair it. because when I went to it one day, the emitter didn't receive signal for NeoPixel, so I had to like open it up, fix a wire. Now everything's working fine, and I want to like set it up for like, you know, Graflex build, like do Graflex fonts, do Graflex colors, do Graflex style blade styles, and all that. So I'm gonna set that up. It'll be like all movie related fonts for the Graflex and stuff. Here we go.
No, not quite. I'm still getting through all that eBay tape. well packed. So I don't see any holes drilled in it. So I'm not sure if this is a newer style generation or if this is a Parks, but it looks legit. It is an Armitage Shanks hand wheel, chromed.
Wow.
I think they only made these in the UK, and this is what they put on the end of Obi-Wan's saber from A New Hope. This one just has the Armitage Shanks logo on it, and apparently the reference material shows that they don't know if it's a hot or a cold valve that went on the actual prop. So I'm not sure if this is a vintage, but the price was right, so I just snagged it up and figured I'd research it and see. I know that Parks way back in the day also made a replica version of it, and so I need to pull out my old Parks saber and see if the inside looks the same as this one. But Jim, if you know, let me know if you think that's a vintage or a newer generation Armitage Shanks faucet hand wheel. I got the real deal one here. This is actually, other than like a vintage Graflex clamp, this is the only vintage part I have for Obi-Wan's saber. It's right here, still in the box. No, so that one's the real deal right
That's
there.
an original?
Yeah.
And then the one you have, you think it might also be original?
Well, you know what? Let me pull this one out of here and compare, because now that I'm looking at this one, this is the hot. The vintage one is the hot side. Yeah. Right? Yeah, let me do that. Good point. I mean, it's just chrome plastic, so I'm not too worried about it.
Looks great. Alec Espinoza says, I got a blade from Padawan Outpost last year, and I'm not sure if anyone knows the comparison between that blade and a TriStar blade. Yeah, I don't have a Padawan Outpost saber blade, but maybe John, I think John does. Let me see. Oh, he does say right here, Alex, I did 2 full side-by-side videos of blades on my channel. Check it out when you can. Yeah, I think he might have a Padawan Outpost blade. I'm not sure. Eric R says, I remember 2 months ago while I was traveling through Indonesia, I came across your channel, and I think I've watched every single video since. I'm really happy to take time to answer questions. Oh, thanks, Eric. That's awesome.
All Spaces channels are gold. So I think so, Space.
Jim says Red Sea stripe is hot. Does that make sense to you, Jedi Roast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a plastic insert that goes in here. Now I'm pretty positive now both of these are real deal Armitage Shanks.
Is this one faucet part? Did I not catch that the first time? Okay.
Yep. It's a hand. They call it hand wheel over in the UK, and so I've always had this one, and it came with the hot red side. But for some reason, they had already sold the cold side when I bought the pair. So I always wanted another one to put in the box with the red one. And so it looks to me like the new one I just got is legit. They look identical. So whether or not it's the right vintage version, what do you think, Jim? Because like the ones Roman sells have an H and a C on it, whereas this has the A for Armitage Shanks. Well, it's like an AS logo, see it? And so it's the Armitage Shanks
kind of
logo.
Like the Superman logo. That's pretty cool.
So I know this one's legit. This one did not come. This one, the new one I just got right here, did not come with the blue designation. It's all it is a plastic ring that snaps in there. And so it didn't come with the blue or the red. It's just blank. So, but I'm pretty sure that it's legit. This new one I got here it looks legit to me. So
It
yeah, if
does.
anybody knows, let me know. I'll be
Jim
curious.
says looks vintage to me. What's
Cool.
going on, Gabe?
What up? What's going on, guys?
What up,
Well-
kid?
The word.
You ready to make your saber talk?
Oh, I forgot we were gonna do that too. I gotta put the. Do I gotta plug it back up, or could I use the SD card for that?
Both. But you don't have to take. You don't necessarily have to take the SD card out. I'm not sure how long it'll take to copy the
That's what
common
I'm saying.
folder.
So, but I gotta plug it back up to the computer.
Yeah, because we have to re-upload the config with just one little extra word at the end of each of your font names on the config. If you want to do that tonight, totally up to you.
Okay. Yeah. Let me go get the wire then, because I thought that after programming it, we wouldn't have to plug it up like that again.
Oh, sorry about that.
I thought it
Well,
was
that just
SD card.
yeah. See, I didn't know if you'd want the vocal menu or not, but it's a really easy thing to just have fun
Yeah,
with.
sure. Why not? I'll try it. Can't knock it till I try it.
Yeah.
Let me I'm gonna log out real quick because I'm gonna run and get that, and then I'll jump back on.
Okay.
Chet asks JAD, do you have a complete real parts Obi-Wan?
No, I wish. I saw that Roman from Roman Props just sold one that had, I want to say 80% real parts, and I think it went for like $4,500 on. I saw it on Facebook and maybe Graphics Addicts. I don't know. It was
And
in
that's
one of
an,
the
that's
groups.
an empty hilt, right? That's an
Yeah,
empty.
I'm not so sure you could install a real parts because of the is it the booster or the one of the parts isn't really designed for being able to install full
Like
electronics.
to pass wires through up at the neck part.
Right. I mean, you could get creative probably and figure something out, but I don't know if I've ever seen. You think Scott Joua did one where he installed a real Obi-Wan? Because
Sounds like something he would do.
Yeah, I have to go
That's
back.
his
And look
like
at his videos
favorite
again.
one to do, I think.
But no, the only thing I have, Chet, is the hand wheels. These are fairly affordable if you can find them. If you can get one for under $100, you're doing good. But no, a complete one. I think Space and I were tracking an auction when we were live one time, and it ended up going for like 14 grand or something. All real parts from the World War II grenade, or was it World War One? British grenade. Yeah, way out of my budget. I wish, man. I wish I would have thought to start collecting those parts like 20 years ago. Then yes, I'd have one, but no. I can only dream. So yes, the Obi-Wan New Hope had no ring and was from a 3-knob tub. Okay. So then this one's the no ring, I take it. Because there's no color ring in this one. But the one that I have in the vintage box has the red. Interesting. Pretty sure the top pops off, and so you can add. Yeah, see, you can add the. Let me pop it apart here. It's really easy to take apart. Yeah, so you can pop the two parts apart and add the red or the blue ring in there. This one just came blank.
That hole must be the thing that the threaded steel rod, Jim's saying, runs through the top to the bottom of the prop.
Correct. Right there. Yep. And then this is just an end cap. It's all plastic. There's no metal. So that was kind of cool. This completes my set. Now I got 2 in the box, which it only got shipped with 1 when I bought it from the UK eons ago. So we're getting closer. I got the pommel worked out, and that's it.
Jim says, just get the Romans Hollow kit.
Right.
Paulie Co, welcome. Could someone figure out how to add a speaker towards the blade emitter instead of the pommel? Like, check out my I don't know
This
when
guy
it's going
right
to be
here.
like on my channel, but I have a saber coming that I got all the parts like laying on my table here. I don't know how long it's going to take me to assemble it, but it's got 2 speakers up at the top, like, you know, the Kylo Ren lightsaber with the exhausts. I'm doing one like that, but instead of exhausts for like blade, it's 2 speakers. So we're going to see how that sounds. Like, I think it's going to sound good because it's going to be like up there and like, you know, facing you and facing your opponent and stuff, like, and it's going to be like rather than coming out the bottom. And I'm actually not going to put a speaker at the bottom on that one. The bottom's just going to have acts like the pommel where the speaker would normally be. It's just going to be like the connections for the, you know, like the USB connection, SD card, like on the board, like that type of thing, and the 2 speakers up top. And they're going to be like those little bass speakers, 28 millimeter, like the bass tube looking speakers, like the same look. I don't know if you know what the 31 millimeter looks like on the Saber Armory website, but these are like the smaller versions of that. I think it's 28 millimeter around. They're really, I think they're going to be punchy. I think because Gabe has one of those in his Saber. Let's get him back in here. Gabe has one of those in his Saber. It sounds pretty good. I'm going to put 2 of them in my Saber, but I'm not the first one to do that. LDM on FX Sabers forums used to, or he probably still does, when he does sabers, he often does a reverse sound where he puts the speaker up at the top, like in the neck part of the saber, and some holes at the top. So when you're swinging it around, rather than coming out the bottom, it actually comes out the top. It's kind of a neat idea.
I love that idea.
That's smart too,
Spaces.
because that's what kind of faces you anyway. Anytime you're spinning, it's the front,
Right.
you know, that people. That's pretty smart.
Yeah, like you're kind of like, you know, aiming it at people, right? Or
Yeah,
you're
correct.
at least that's
So the
kind of
sound is
facing
going in
you
that
too.
direction, you know. That's pretty cool. And the same thing with that cross guard thing you're talking about with the 2 sides. That should sound cool because it's. I mean, with that alone, you wouldn't need a speaker in the bottom, but you know me, I would probably put it down
Yeah.
there just out of curiosity, just to see how that sounds. It's got to be like 3D sounding all the way around, you know.
I also don't know if like the board, like I'm going to put a crystal focus in that one. I don't know. Jedi Arms Dealer might know. Like he knows it can push 2 speakers, but could it push 3 crystal focus, you think?
I'd have to draw up the math on that. You'd have to use.
That's interesting.
I mean, you figure each speaker would only be getting 1 watt, so I don't know if that would be worth it. Yeah, but I mean, with the way you're doing it, it's going to be THX approved, so it's all good.
Yeah, John, you'll have to come over when I make that one. Gabe will come over too, and I mean, Gabe has probably seen on my table like parts to this, but didn't really know what I was doing with it. But yeah,
I've seen what no man has seen before on the table. I've got to see some of the top secret stuff, some of the goodies. I get to play with them first.
Yeah, Gabe's one of the only people to see a PENTA-STAR, right, with like 600 LEDs. John saw it too.
John, yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Next time you come over, we'll do some more tests with your new saber on that one. I don't think we tried it last time you were here.
No, I think I wanted to shoot some video footage and photos just for content to post online and stuff, and I left your house and I forgot to do that. So next time I come over, I have to record some. I got my hilt plugged up here. What do you want to do, JD?
Well, first let's go grab that comments folder. Did you choose which voice you liked best? Did I send you the link for that?
I didn't really hear a difference other than the languages. Is that what you meant?
Well, there was like, if you go across the English one and you try all the different speakers, there's like male voices, female voices.
Like English, Spanish, Italian. I just kept, clicking on each one, and I can only choose either English or Spanish. So, so I didn't go across. I didn't notice that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know they kind of sound like dude robots, and I think there's 1 female in there.
Hold on, I'll do it right now. You sent it to my messenger, right?
Yes.
I'll do it right now.
Collector's Outpost says, dude, people have been asking me about the PENTA-STAR. Yeah, like you're gonna have to. I was thinking about that. Like we're all gonna have to see the new LEDs as a quad star and then as a PENTA-STAR, because the new LEDs are like twice as bright. It's crazy. So like I think we'll try the quad star first, like another maybe I'll make a quad star and you could test that. We'll see what the numbers are, and at some point we'll do a PENTA-STAR. The PENTA-STAR is like a long build process. That's kind of a PITA, you know, it's a PETA. It's kind of a pain to make a PENTA-STAR, but we'll see what we can do. It's not out of the question, but it's that's a 5-strip blade with like 600 LEDs, and I think with these new LEDs, it's just gonna be wacky bright. But I want to see the quad star first. We got to make a quad star. We haven't had a quad star in the Destiny spaceship in a while, so I think maybe the next quad star, I will make it. We'll do some tests, and then we'll pass it to Collector's Outpost to do some tests. And then we'll get to the PENTA-STAR too at some point. But I didn't even make a video about the PENTA-STAR yet. So that's like, it's something I've had built, and I haven't made a video explaining it or really anything. We showed it a couple times. Alec Espinoza says, what is the difference between the quad star or the tri-star and a quad star? Is it just a brightness only? Well, the difference is it's just the tri-star has 3 strips, 3 of these style strips right here. So I'll make my screen bigger. Let's see if it'll focus on this.
Focus. Tri-star gives you focus.
These are just 7 millimeters wide, this strip. So we're actually able to fit a bunch of these into a blade rather than like the ones that are 12 millimeters wide. You can only fit, you know, maybe 2, maybe 3 if you were getting crazy. With these thin ones, I fit up to 5 so far. So 5 is the PENTA-STAR, quad star is 4. So when we're talking about 4, we're talking about 500 LEDs, depending on the blade length. Tri-star, you got about 350 LEDs. So that's the difference. You know, sometimes with more light, like in a quad star, more lights. Turns out that it's a bit brighter. I think the last time we compared a tri-star to a quad star, one of the colors, and we use the same saber. So like Gabe put the tri-star in his saber and then tested it on a certain color, and it was like 15,000. I think it was like a photon or something like that. Then we put a quad star photon in his same saber, and it was like almost 17,000. So it's a little bit different there. With with the tri-star we're already at 15,000, and with the quad star just brought it up a couple more thousand. So that was like a green color. I think that was at the time one of the brightest. Now we just got some new LEDs, and I made a tri-star. We were reaching 17,000 with a standard tri-star. So I guess depending on the LEDs, it could be, you could get different results depending on the saber as well. Like whatever the saber is, like color is on the saber, the board, the battery level. But the main difference is the number of LEDs there. Tri-star's got 350, quad star's got 500. Yeah, Jim said it faster than me here. 3 NeoPixel strips versus 4.
I don't know how you do the Penta space. I built that. You taught me how to build that quad star, and I was like, oh my God, this is some work. That was intense.
It takes some time, and then if you run into an issue, you like have a bunch of components. It's like a complicated car, right? Like when they say don't buy like, a complicated vehicle because then there's too many things can go wrong. When you have 4 strips, there's obviously more that can go wrong. 5 strips, more that can go wrong. Usually when you seal it all up and you like get it all together, then your problems usually are over. But it's the point of like getting to the person building it has to like sometimes, it's not as easy as it sounds, is basically what I'm saying. So like, oh, it's got 5 strips. Well, yeah, it sounds easy, but when you're actually working with it, sometimes one of the strips has an issue, and then to get to it, depending on what stage you are with the building of it, it could kind of like really set you back when you have to go back. But like once it's all together, you've done all the tests, you've fixed it a few times as you're building it, because like something may have moved or something, but once you built it, like nothing can really move anymore. It's usually good to go. Amundo will be here soon. So what are you guys doing? You're putting something on Gabe's saber. You're putting voice activation or something.
Yeah, did you choose your favorite? Good.
Yeah, where do I go from there?
Did you download it?
No.
There should be a download arrow next to the speaker.
Hold on.
And so that's going to be your common folder voice. You're picking your droid essentially that lives within your saber.
Jim is asking about COB strips. So let me just show you guys what a COB strip looks like. Now you see the Cobb strip has, hopefully this will work. I think maybe my light is too bright over here, but this strip is wider than the ones I use for like this is the one on the bottom here I use for the Quad Star and the PENTA-STAR and the TriStar. And this one at the top is what I use for the DUEL-STAR OMEGA. So it's a thicker strip, even though the LEDs are kind of like thinner, they're in the middle. Probably can't see with the light here, but the strip itself, as you can see from the back, is wider than the strip for the TriStar, PENTA-STAR, Quad Star. Now I did turn this thicker strip into what I called a TriStar OMEGA. So that meant that I used 3 of these thicker strips, and Jedi Arms Dealer built me a special core, a special tri-core OMEGA, which was a thicker triangle than what I normally use for a TriStar, because normal TriStar has these thinner LEDs, right? These thinner strips. So the triangle that I apply these to is thinner, smaller, like more like it becomes like a circle when I put the heat shrink around it. It becomes like round because it's such a small circle with these. But to make a TriStar OMEGA using these meant that because keep in mind this is what I call the DUEL-STAR OMEGA when there's 2 of these strips. So to make a 3 strip with this would be the TriStar OMEGA. We did one, and I have one done, and it's got 800 LEDs. It's crazy. A Jedi Arms Dealer made for me a core that it's thick and I could adhere these to. But to answer Jim's question here about whether there could be like a Quad Star OMEGA or a PENTA-STAR OMEGA, I kind of don't think so, because the core would have to be so big to house that, like to house this thick strip 4 times, that I don't think there'd be that much room for diffusion. And if we did do that, we'd be talking about, how many LEDs would we be talking? We'd be talking about like 1,200 LEDs or like 1,100 LEDs. So I don't know if like a regular saber, like we're really pushing the limits with 800 for the TriStar OMEGA. But yeah, I mean, it is possible. You just have less diffusion. So as far as whether I'm going to do it, I don't think so, and I don't plan to do it, but it would be possible if someone wanted to do, like, let's say they could buy my Quad Star chip, which is just a little PCB, and make their own core on their 3D printer, right? That's like a bigger quad core, and then put these thicker strips on that all around, and then have like an 1,100 LED blade. But for now, I got the blade with the most LEDs in the world, so no one's beat it yet. Eric R says, if you upload a recap from the Q&A to YouTube, could you try to explain how a Quad Star would work with an 18650 battery blade combo from Saber Trio, or with 18650s in general? Yeah, it actually works pretty good. So like I played with Gabe's saber connected to the Quad Star. We didn't have any trouble. It was really working nicely. As far as how long it will stay on, it really depends on like what color you have going. But like just normal colors like purples, blues and greens and reds, and like as far as white, you might like have a speaker rattle after a time, because like I know like once the battery gets really low, your speaker will kind of tell you first. Like your speaker will be like, like kind of sounding weird, and then you know that like your battery is draining. so you have to recharge the battery at that point. But it will work. It'll work because Gabe and I played with his 18650 powered sabers with the quad star, and it's been no trouble. Actually, Gabe's saber powers like all the, with an 18650 is able to power all the blades that we make. It's just, I guess it's just a question of how long would they last and on what color, you know.
You got a chance to go ahead.
I haven't had a chance to like really let it run, you know, not an hour and things, because I really don't have that much time in the day anyway. You know, I'm working 8 hours a day. I come home and I'll try to spend for a while or on a weekend or something. But for the most part, I haven't had any issues with any of our blades. Not the DUEL-STAR, quad star, tri-star, PENTA-STAR. Everything I popped in works, and I can spin it for 20 minutes, whatever, 30 minutes. Come back, turn it off for a bit, come back a little bit later. That's what I do throughout the day. I'm home relaxing. I'll spin for a little bit, practice some lightsaber forms, whatever, right here in my living room. And I'm going for a while, before any of it starts to die out and stuff. And then I don't have in-hill recharge, so I just got extra batteries. I'll just swap them out and just keep going like nothing ever happened. But I haven't had any issues, technically speaking. I haven't had any issues or problems with any one of the blades. Right now I got my tri-star. I got a tri-star blade. I got a DUEL-STAR, and I got a photon. I never had a single problem. I'm sitting home chilling, just whatever mood I'm in. I'm in a DUEL-STAR mood. Pop that in. I'm in a photon mood. Pop that in, and I'm spinning around, whatever. So,
did you get a chance to play with that yet, Space?
No.
45 amp beast. I didn't know if that would make a difference on your numbers.
Hold that up again.
Yeah, I sent one of these to Space to play with.
45 amps of lightsaber power.
Jeez.
A 26650. Is that what it is, right?
I think it's a 21700.
21700 battery, mega amplitude on that one. Yeah, like that'll probably run my, tri-star Omega for a while, PENTA-STAR even, for a while, definitely. Did you ever make yourself a quad star Jedi Arm Stealer or no?
Yeah, that was the last one I built. Yeah. When
Did you get a chance to like play with that at any of your 18650 batteries?
It's been great. It doesn't mess up at all. But no, I haven't done a battery longevity test to see how fast it drains it. But it's working great.
It works good in there. Nice.
Yeah,
that's good.
Real good.
Nathan Broski says, are y'all gonna do COB strips for a quad? No, like I kind of answered that a couple minutes ago, which was that I probably won't do it for a quad star. At least I don't have plans to do that at the moment. But it would be possible as long as you could do something with your diffusion. Like, see, the problem with doing that is like the diffusion that I'd want to put on it, which is a closed cell tube. So a closed cell tube just means it's not like a wrap, like a foam wrap where there's a seam, right? A closed cell tube means like it's a foam tube that's the diffusion. Like they'll sell it at the Saber Armory. They'll sell that at Custom Saber Shop. The hole inside that closed cell tube that you're using for your foam diffusion is only so big. And I don't think you'd be able to shove a quad core, something to hold the quad, the Omega strips, these thick strips, which they are not thick strips as far as the lighting on it, but the paper itself is thick. Even though it's flexible, I think you'd still, I don't think this would, I don't know. I haven't tried like cutting the sides off of this. I don't think this is the type that I could snip. So if you have these thick strips and you have 4 of them, and then you want to try to get that into your foam, I'm not sure that that's going to work. Like, I'm not sure that that's going to get inside the foam. But for the PENTA-STAR, like I had that same problem for the PENTA-STAR. But what I did was like I've been collecting foam. Like I've been in the saber community since like 2008. Like trying to do string blades and lightsaber hilts and stuff. And ever since then, I've been collecting foam that people have been selling in different like closed cell foam tubes. Like no one really has a radar out their radar like out for that stuff, but I always did. And people would come to me with like they'd be like, I know you like string blades, you want this foam tubing that I've got from something. And I would always buy it from them. So I'd buy it from eBay, I'd buy it from Saber Friends on FX Sabers, I'd buy it from people online. And eventually I had 2 or 3 of these foams that were closed cell tubes. They went all the way around, but they were very thin. The foam was very thin with a big hole in the middle. And I got like 5 of those originally, right? So I built a 12 millimeter string blade with those, and I sent that to my friend Brandon, and I built a PENTA-STAR on it, V1. I still have that here. I built a PENTA-STAR V2, which John saw from the Collector's Outpost. Gabe saw that in person, and that looks really, really good. But the problem is I only have like 1 more, I think, of those closed cell foam tubes. So that's kind of why I don't really like produce the PENTA-STAR for you guys, because like I can't really do it too many more times. I could do it like 1 more time before I run out of that closed cell foam tube, and maybe at some point someone will be able to get me more tubing like that or make me more. Mundo, what's going on, Mundo?
What up, guys?
How are you doing
How
tonight?
y'all do? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sweet
so
shirt.
For, that way everybody could see.
Yeah, Mundo is open 24 hours. That's Mundo's bar.
Mundo's.
That's awesome.
Always
He's
open.
Gonna be here every single Monday.
Always got a drink too.
He does a Mundo Monday on several different channels. So if you're looking for him, check out Mundo Cabrera. That's his YouTube channel. He usually has that connected to the show as well. Orange Book Comics LLC YouTube channel. He's on there talking, and he's also on here, Civilized Sabers, some Mondays. He's somewhere every Monday, so make sure you're subscribed to those channels. So I hope that answers your question, Nathan. Maybe in the future, but I don't have any plans. So that's kind of the short answer for that question. Maybe in the future. I don't really have any plans to do it because of those issues. Yeah, Mundo, we're just answering like kind of Saber questions right now.
That's
and
cool,
Gabe has some questions he's gonna like read to me. They're also trying to like upgrade Gabe's Saber to it's a Profi Saber, so he needs to like, update it with a couple fonts.
Real quick too, I want to just tell everyone that's chiming in on your questions, we're going to go down the list, so just be a little bit patient and tolerant, because I see the line or the list building up with questions. We'll eventually get down to you and try to answer your questions. Just hang out with us and maybe, and also we'll probably answer questions before you even get to them as we elaborate on some of these topics. We might end up answering your question as we go anyway. So we'll be going down the list. Jedi Arms Dealer, I went ahead and downloaded it. I got it in my downloads already.
Okay,
what
cool.
up, chat, everybody?
Did it already?
Mundo, look how far I got with this. Did pretty good, didn't I?
Ooh. Oh my goodness.
I think I drank it only with you. I drank it only with you here on YouTube. Drank it with Mundo. Mundo got me this bottle, sent me this bottle from Texas, and I've been enjoying it. Oh, I forgot my ice cube, but Kevin said I don't need ice cubes. So I won't even use ice cube.
Where do I go, JD, you said?
Did it already unzip it? So do you have a common folder? Okay. Yeah. Now just take that common folder and drag it into your fonts folder on your desktop that you made that's not part of the SD card yet. You know what I mean? You got your 5 fonts in there. Yeah, just drag it in there.
Hold on. Oh, here it is. Okay, hold on. Bam, it's in there.
And then is your SD card mounted on the desktop already? You got it plugged in, everything plugged in?
I didn't take the SD card out of the Saber. I just have the Saber plugged up to the computer.
Well, we're back to that whole thing where, like, if you do take the SD card out and put it in your computer, it's going to transfer everything a lot faster.
Yeah.
But maybe Tom can answer this, but I think we can just add the common folder if you want to put the SD card on the desktop, like it connects through your Saber, but it might take a long time to copy that common folder.
See, I didn't even know you could do that. Like, I didn't even know you could go through the USB for that.
It's really slow, and it's always best to reformat your SD card before you drop a bunch of more, WAV files on it. So it's better if it's a fresh install.
And
you
this
mean
is
if
putting
you're
fonts
connected?
on, right?
What's
Is
that,
it only
Mojo?
putting fonts on, or you guys are doing something else?
We're putting all the vocal menu stuff so he can use edit mode.
All
Is
right.
that
Oh,
like a
so
line of
start
code
it.
you add in, and then he's got that, or it's something more?
Well, right now we're just adding the sounds, so it changes your edit mode, changes your saber into like full vocal menu, so that without plugging your saber in, you can change every aspect: blaster colors, lockup colors. I mean, it's crazy.
All right.
All
So
the
I got
different
the
things you can
SD
do.
card plugged in now. Where do I drag and drop to?
Do you have it plugged into your, like, you took it out of the saber?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's go ahead and reformat it then. So you're going to go back to your Mac tools and delete it. Like completely erase the card, which is it should be under disk utility on your Mac.
All right. While we do that, and you can go to the next question. I think
Eric R asks, I'm curious if the battery time is the only negative. If you would use the quad on 18650 battery sabers, I could see on your website that you had a note that you should not use them unless you had a huge battery. Yeah, I mean, I recommend like building the saber to the blade you want to use. Now I know that's kind of probably backwards from the way a lot of people go about like getting a blade, or maybe getting a blade usually comes with the saber, so getting like one of my blades would be kind of like an afterthought, I guess. So I understand why that would happen, but in my world the best way to do it would be to be like, I want a quad star, therefore I'm going to build a saber that can kind of like do everything the quad star needs. In that case, like maybe put like a 21700 in the saber, just so you're going to get like a good amount of runtime. But the nice thing is with the LEDs that I use, these let me pull it up again. Where'd I put it? Right here. These 7mm wide strips, they have LEDs on them that are 3.5 millimeters. Now a lot of saber makers use blade LEDs that are 5 millimeters, and they're more power hungry. These ones, even though we have 500 LEDs in that quad star, they are these more efficient LEDs. So that's kind of why you're able to do it with an 18650, and it's not too much of an issue. The only place like you kind of see an issue is like if you're like, let's say your favorite color is yellow or white for your blade color, that you're not going to get that much runtime. Like, you'd probably get like on an 18650. I mean, I'm just going to guess like maybe it's going to be 40 minutes to an hour. Whereas like on a regular color, you'd probably get more than that. On a like R, G, or B, because the blade is RGB, right? Like red, green, blue. If we have just the red on, we're talking about however many LEDs there are, the red is on. So it's maybe 500 LEDs. We've got 500 of the reds, the R and the G and the B. The G and the B are not on, right? It's just a red. So we got our 500 on. If we're doing purple or we're doing yellow, for instance, we've got for yellow, we've got the red on and we've also got the green on. So now we're talking 500 LEDs. The red is on and the green is on. We're talking 1,000 diodes are on. So when you're dealing with those colors that are mixed, we're talking about bringing more of the diodes into play, which is just going to reduce your battery consumption level. So I recommend a bigger battery, kind of building the saber to the blade if you can. Now most people are just going to order a lightsaber blade. Say it's got an 18650. That's the most common lightsaber battery. It's still going to work. But I would just keep mindful of like those things I mentioned, which is like, if you're like, this saber blade's got to be white, maybe consider another option, because to display white in that quad star all the time is not really going to be the best thing for you. I would probably suggest like a tri-star or something, set it to white, probably be better. 350 LEDs, you're still kind of beating everybody. You got the most LEDs, you got the brightest, but it's just not going too overboard. If your color's got to be white or it's got to be bright yellow, if you intend on doing that, try to build a saber up that is just going to make it work for like hours. 21700 is going to have a lot of extra juice.
Yeah, like for me, eventually I'm gonna get a tri-star, maybe a quad star, depends, maybe both. But that memory saber that I've always talked about, I'm running a 26650 battery in it because you know, eventually, like I said, a TriStar and a QuadStar are going to be, you know, absolutely gorgeous with the hilt. And so it's like Space was explaining, you know, to build your saber around the blades. And with me knowing about these blades, I went ahead and built my friend's memory saber to that kind of specification. I knew I was going to want a good amount of runtime for that brightness, you know, so that I know that if I go to a con or something, I don't have to worry about running out of juice within an hour.
Yeah, exactly, Alec. He asks, is that because the max size of the blades is 32 and not 36 like in the movies? Yeah, I keep the blade length on those tri-stars, quad stars, and the PENTA-STARs. Even if I were to offer the PENTA-STARs, it'd be like lower, probably like 30 inches, because that's, yeah, like if you have a longer blade, you can imagine just those extra inches at the end. When we're talking a quad star or a pentastar or even a tri-star, the fact that there's LEDs all the way around means that just by cutting off 2 inches, I can be taking away like close to 80 LEDs, which helps a little. You know, if we have a 36-inch long blade, not only does it take me longer to make that, more things can go wrong in those inches. You wouldn't believe it, but it's true. And you'd also have this color drop off. And that's one thing I don't like. And Jedi Arms Dealer, I think, has seen that in person before, where you build a blade that's too long, and you will see, like, let's say it's orange, or you're trying to have a bronze blade. By the end of it, it's like kind of turning darker toward the end. It's losing that orange. Or if you try to have a yellow blade, it's turning orange toward the end. There's something that kind of changes when the signal hits the end. Now there's like potentially a cure for that, which would be like, let's say, to solder the power lines in a different way. And we've experimented a little bit with that, but we haven't quite gotten to a place where we can like do that on every single build. So that's another reason for the length restriction on those type of blades at 32.
Yeah, see, for me, I have a blade that's 28 inches. And you know, the only reason why I knew how long my blade length was about is I had gone to a con and they were showing, you know, for your height specifications usually determines your blade length. And it was kind of weird, but it was kind of ingenious as well. It was I was really surprised that that short of a blade, but when I used it on my saber, as opposed to the 30 is just a tad bit longer, but it still works really well. But with the 28, you can kind of see the difference in the size, but at the same time, you'll see how it fits how tall I am versus, you know, just that little extra bit makes a big
Yeah, like you're
difference.
supposed to be able to like stand there and you're holding your saber like up at the guard, and you point your saber down at the ground, and if the blade touches the ground, it's probably too long for your height. It's supposed to be able to be like
Mhm,
you can swing the saber around and not hit the ground as you come with your wrist as low to the ground.
mhm.
So that's another consideration, like Mundo said, like your own height. Tom asked, did Space get his Mac working for programming Profis? I did. Thank you so much. We did a background, you know, not to bore you guys, because it was getting a little bit repetitive when I would come on live and try to do this and have the same issue for an hour. So what we did was I had Jedi Arms Dealer come behind the scenes, help me behind the scenes. Mundo, did you drop your drink?
No, not the
You weren't
drink. I
even
just
finished
dropped.
with that. You should have passed it to me.
He dropped his Dixie
Oh,
cup.
no. I've got an extra phone right here that I was plugging in.
Oh, I thought the drink fell.
Not because my battery's going dead or anything. I'm just kind of I want to, just in case, look at some extra things. Maybe if we need to look up or something.
Thank you. Yeah, so Tom, I did get it hooked up behind the scenes. Jedi Arms Dealer helped me. We tried a couple things on the original Arduino program that like y'all use, like, you know, a certain version of Arduino. Then I kind of realized, since my Mac was like pretty new, we decided to try the newest version of Arduino for the silicon chip that Mac has, and that one worked. So we did all we needed to do at that point. So that ended up working out for me, and it's actually good for me because I like the interface of the new Arduino. It's got like colors that light up your code that's active. So when the code is active, rather than everything just being like kind of one color, the newest version of our Arduino highlights your activated code when you make it activated. So that was kind of helping my eye to see what was on and what was off, as far as like, when you take those slashes away to activate a code in the Profi programming, that was helping me. So I think that's good. Tom also says I've been testing OS 7 stuff. Yeah, well, I was aware of that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, man.
I can't wait to see some of that stuff. You're really lucky to. And also, you're doing a service to us by getting rid of all the bugs before we all get it. So that's pretty awesome.
Is it true, Tom, that with OS 7 we'll be able to control like 2 separate blades, like in a staff, complete independent control? Ooh. I think I read that somewhere.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Does that would that mean that the sound would be independent as well? Because imagine like a Darth Maul saber, and you're trying to control 2 different blades with it. So maybe you have a certain button that activates one of the blades. I don't know how that would work. But when the second blade activated, would that also turn on new, like an overlaid sound? So you have your hum already because the first blade's on, and then you need a new ignition for the second blade. I guess that would have to be baked into that too.
Yeah, I don't think they've tackled the sound part of it yet, but well, how would you
would definitely need that, right? It'd be playing, and maybe it would have to come off the tracks album, because it'd have to be like that overlaid, or kind of do the same thing that the tracks does. Like when you play a song, it'll overlay on your font sounds. You would need a second overlay, because it would have to ignite the second one auditorily as well, rather than just visually. That's part of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about, Tom. Is I know they're saying it's going to independently control colors, but will it have like separate turn on and turn off sounds if you don't ignite the blades at the same time? So many questions. I can't wait for OS 7.
Here's one I'm not sure how to answer. How many amps is TriStar Omega drawing? How do we figure that out? Like, we figure out how many LEDs 1 amp draws and then multiply it by 800?
Something.
Yeah,
like
you could do the math on the amp draw on the 35 pixels.
Well, these would be the COB, the COB.
Oh, my bad.
So
Omega. Right.
Does somebody want to try to look that up, and I'll answer the next question? Like, check out the Adafruit website. Yeah. Adafruit website. Go to NeoPixels, then go to the ones that are like the COB. See if you can find out what the draw is on there, and then I'll do the math on that, and we'll let Tom know. I think the next question has to do with that. Chet Osborne asks, where do you get those COB strips? Adafruit? Yeah, I get them from Adafruit. It seems to be one of the only strips that they have now that is still in stock, so I can still get them from there. I've also found out that like other places have the COB strips too, and they do seem to be like similar quality. So I have used COB strips from other places as well when Adafruit was out of stock. Now they seem to be in stock with those. They just aren't in stock with the 3535, as far as I know. But yeah, those come from Adafruit. They are they come in like half meter. So if the price is a little deceiving, like, oh, that price isn't so bad, well, it's actually they're only selling it in half a meter. So to do, let's say, a DUEL-STAR Omega, you need 4 of those, not just 2. So a DUEL-STAR would be 2 strips. You'd actually need 4 of those because they're only half meter. You kind of need to solder them together. Other makers, I found, like, some of them come in a meter, so you can kind of check and see how they come. But even if they come in a meter, they're joined. They're always like joined. So I try to spend some time to join them really tightly, because with the COB, they are naturally like very close together. So if you don't join them very close together, you will see some kind of shadow there. What size is the small strip?
John's comment Space? He said he's gonna run a test of the TriStar runtime this weekend with the 18650
Oh, sweet.
batteries.
Cool.
So that'll be cool to see, John. If
Yeah, and like just like tell people whatever color, John. Like, what if you're on green, tell people green, because like I know the different colors are gonna be different, right? So like if it's, I think if it's blue or if it's green, you probably get the similar reading. If it's purple or if it's yellow or if it's white, that will probably reduce it. I would imagine. I would imagine that a TriStar is equal to like another company's double strip blade because of the efficiency of our LED. So even though we have 350 LEDs in there and a TriStar, I would assume I probably would bet money that it's a similar battery comparison when you compare that to another company's double strip blade, if we're talking about the same length of blade and the same color. Because ours are more efficient, it's just a smaller LED. We just have more of them. Nathan Broski says, is KR V2 blades brighter than the TrueStar?
TriStar, he meant.
I think he means
TriStar.
Yeah, he meant
John
TriStar.
Collector's Outpost just did a test with them. It seemed like the TriStar in his test was brighter on different colors, various brightness levels, different. Sometimes it was very close. Sometimes it seemed to be like 10%, 20% different. The TriStar always came out brighter, but just to varying degrees in his test. When I've tested them here, I've found that some colors on the KR V2 strip ended up being a little brighter even than on the TriStar, and then other colors on the TriStar were brighter than the KR V2. It just kind of depended, what colors we were looking at. The KR seemed to be powerful on certain colors. Collector's Outpost says I'll run a test of a TriStar runtime this weekend. I mean, Gabe just told us that. Cool.
A little further up, you might have answered this one already. There was a gentleman, see if I could find it, because there's so many comments coming in here and we're trying to keep up with everything. So we apologize. Let me go back a bit. I think I lost it. There was a gentleman on here who asked, he said right now he's currently the national champion for lightsaber dueling. And
wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. And then he asked if here it is, Tony Zaldua. I'm a member of the Lightspeed Saber League and the Saber Legion. I'm currently the Lightspeed National Champion. Would the Quad Star hold up in heavy dueling?
No. So the thing with the TriStar and the Quad Star and the PENTA-STAR is that they won't bend. So if you like, let's say record yourself spinning a lightsaber like really harshly, like you're doing, flourishes, and you're just whipping it around, like I'm sure Joe does. Did you say his name was Joe?
No, Tony.
Tony. Like if you're doing that like harsh, spinning and twirling and kind of like really making a show of it, what happens if you record yourself and look at that video is that the blade is like bent, right? When you're swinging it so hard, the blade gets curved as you swing it. It has flex. Now a DUEL-STAR, that's what I call a blade with two strips. See, I got my DUEL-STAR shirt on. A blade with two strips can flex because the strips are back to back, and even though they kind of can't flex this way, they can flex this way. So as you're whipping it around, that blade, it's like did you ever hold a pencil by one end and it looks kind of like rubber, right? It's kind of a visual effect. Well, a lightsaber actually does that. When you're swinging it, it flexes, and a DUEL-STAR allows for it to flex. The TriStar being in this triangular formation, there's no way for that to flex, because any which way you go is going to ruin the formation. Now, I build a TriStar with gaps in the tri-core. So the tri-core is made up of different pieces of plastic. And so there is a certain amount of flex at those seams that will allow for like swinging it pretty pretty hard and whatever. But as far as the flex that happens when you duel, now swinging it's one thing, but a duel is going to kind of impact that, and it's going to put some damage to the core. A quad star is the same thing. A quad star has 4 sides, so it's a square. So we've got our LEDs like in a square formation, right? And there's really no way for that to flex. Like even on a quad star, I'll put the gaps in along the quad core. The quad core is what the LED is attached to, but still there's not really much flex that could happen there. So swinging it around is one thing. Obviously it's approved for swinging it around, but dueling, when you duel, that flex gets, I think that could break a solder point. Like every strip has these solder points, and I think that an impact like that on a quad star could actually break it. So that's why and obviously any one of my blades, like even if you are dueling with it and you're not supposed to, if something happens, you send it back and I will fix it for you. But I just try to tell people like what is possible and what's not possible with the blades. It's a pain for you to try to duel with it. One of the strips goes out, or one of the pieces of the strips goes out, and then it doesn't look right, and then you have to send it back. I would repair it for you, but at the same time, right, wouldn't that be a pain to have to like send it back to me, et cetera, et cetera? So you want to kind of avoid those situations. Like for the dueling, like what I would do if I was somebody like Tony would be like, I would display, like let's say display a quad star, do my flourishes and stuff like that. When I go out for the dueling, bring a dual star, bring something that can handle the dueling, and it may not be as bright as the quad star, but then you're like less of a chance of something going wrong, less of a chance of one of the strips going out. That's probably what I would do.
So, and going back to the LED strip deal, you said it was RGB. Was that the LED flex strip?
All of them, yeah, all of
LEDs?
them are RGB. So like this cob, what people are calling cob strip, it's
Oh, it's the
because
strip.
these lights are all connected in like a bubble strip, but they're still
Mm-hmm.
individual lights here. And like there's a comment here from Jim that says, oh, someday there'll be a cob strip like this, but with 3.5 millimeter LEDs. So these are even smaller LEDs than the 3.5. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
these, what I call Omega strips, are not as bright as like a tri-star, a quad star, or a PENTA-STAR. These LEDs just are smaller, even though it's on a thicker strip. Like I keep calling this strip thicker. It's
Mm-hmm.
on a thick strip, but these LEDs are actually smaller and weaker than what we use for like a tri-star, a dual star, quad star. But as far as things that are coming out in the future, like Eric R here asks, are there any new sorts of brighter LEDs coming soon? If there is, are you going to use these on the tri and the quad blades? Yeah, so I did find newer LEDs. I kind of had to, because Adafruit went out of stock back in August of 2022. They went out of stock on the blades, or the LED strips I normally get, and those I had found would be like the brightest. Now, I did since through the help of Derek of Civilized Sabers. He's not here tonight, but he's part of Civilized Sabers as well, building blades and stuff like that. And he found me some nice LEDs that actually turn out to test a little brighter, and we will be using those in the TriStar and the quad blades going forward. And once we do a quad star, we will test. We did some test videos on the TriStar we made with these new LEDs. We're getting some really awesome high numbers. So we're going to put them in the quad star, put them in the TriStars. And as far as new LEDs that are brighter coming soon, I haven't heard of anything, but these things can happen pretty fast. Like what can happen is I get an email tomorrow, right, with like, sometimes a company will release a new product, like Adafruit could release a new product, send me an email and say, like, look at this new blade, or not blade, they don't make the blades, they make the LEDs. So they might say, look at this new LED strip. I order some, I try it. If it's super awesome, like I will make a blade and kind of like pass that technology onto you guys, like show you guys what I did and all that. And when I find a strip like I like these, what I call Omega strips, these ones here on the thick, flexible paper, I really like these. So that's why I made like a TriStar Omega. You know, Jedi Arms Dealer helped me make the core for the TriStar Omega, and we ended up putting 800 LEDs inside one blade, and it looks awesome. You know, Gabe even came over, tried it in his saber, really liked the way it looked, stuff like that. So sometimes you get like really awesome results like that, and sometimes more often than that, you make something and it's like not as good, and then it's like kind of gets shelved. You guys won't hear about it, you know, usually unless it's something really cool. Like when I found those COB LEDs, I started making blades with them. That ended up being really cool, so I kind of passed that on to you guys. But there's other stuff that happens, and you really don't hear about it because it didn't work out. Like I know Megtooth Sith, he tried some LEDs that were like smaller size, I think the 1515s or the 2020s, which had good applications inside a lightsaber hilt, didn't necessarily translate to like an awesome blade because the LEDs were just too small to make a super bright blade.
So on the on Adafruit it says that they could supply a power supply of 5 volts and 2 amps for the LEDs. So you figure
What's like each
5
LED?
volts, 2 amps. So
Like,
probably
does
2
it tell
amps.
you on this? Is there like a spec sheet you could click on? Sometimes there's like a spec sheet for those LEDs, and it'll tell you per LED what the draw is. It'll be like a decimal point. It'll be like 0.11, you know, whatever, and then like I can multiply that by 800, and we can see.
It
For
says
Tom.
maximum 5 volts at 80 milliamps draw per LED on all the
There you
LEDs
go.
full brightness.
80
5
milliamps.
volts, yeah, 5
Mhm.
volt DC power requirements do not exceed 6 volts DC, no polarity protection. Well, that's on this other stuff here, but yeah, you're looking at that's what you were looking at, 5 volts, 80 milliamps per draw per LED.
So that might come down a little bit if we're running full charge between 4 and 4.2,
Yeah.
but it's still
Can you do like the math on that? Like do 80 milliamps times times 800.
BK Saber Sounds says Gabe's Profi Saber round 2. Fingers crossed.
It's already working there.
Awesome. He's one of
Meg
my
says,
favorite
my messages are
makers.
showing
I
up
love
on
that guy.
only Mundo can see them. Huh.
Yeah.
No, I think we can see him, Megtooth. I can see him.
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
we see them, all your messages, Meg.
Yeah, let's go to the next one. I think you might have answered this one already. Space, not sure, but Alec asked again another question, not again, but another question. Are there any dead spots on the TriStar blade?
Where do you see that question? I can pull. Oh, I see.
Are
Let
there
me
any
pull it up.
dead spots?
Sometimes I do make one, and that happens, and then I try to fix it. So a lot of times a dead spot happens when the two strips are joined together, and the way that they're soldered means that there's no LED right there. So what I try to do is I cut as close as I can. And Jedi Arms Dealer knows this because he probably did it too, right? When you were making a TriStar for me over the summer, or making different blades for me over the summer,
Yeah.
and you came across that too, and we had to try to get those strips as close as we could so
Gap
that
out.
that disappears.
Yep.
And so we try to, even on a dual star, it doesn't have to be just a TriStar, right? That you know, it's kind of why the PENTA-STAR takes so long, is because not only just I have to like, oh, I just take 5 strips out of the package and just solder them to the end. No, like we have to take the strips out of the package, undo the factory connection, recut and resolder, do a test, and then connect to the PCB. So on a TriStar, I do that 3 times. On a Quad Star, I do that 4 times. You know, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's the process of doing it. So we do try to get rid of those dead spots. You know, if you're building a TriStar at home, because we sell the TriStar kits on Civilized Sabers, which is a Tri-Core and this TriStar PCB, you'll want to also make sure that you don't have dead spots in your blade by making sure those strips are joined as close together as you can. Like you'll see them when you get them. Some companies, depending on where you get them, you know, lots of different people sell these strips. They're called 35-35, which means 3.5, 3.5. So that's the LED size. 3.5 by 3.5, little square LEDs, 3.5 millimeter square. And so they're also separated by a little tiny space. And in between that little tiny space are solder points. You just want to make sure that the joining point from the factory is as close as you can get it, because the way it comes from certain factories is like, you're like, wow, they did better than I can do. That's kind of rare. What you'll see mostly is that it's farther away than other LEDs on the strip. You know, you'll want to like fix that before you make your blade. Because if you're doing a tri-star, you're doing a quad star, you can get a quad star kit on our site as well. Make a four strip blade. You still want that, because always what it seems like, even if you're staggering the LEDs, like by staggering the LEDs, I mean, like, let's say you're building a quad star and you've got these 4 sides to it. You want your LEDs to be like staggered so that on all the sides, the LEDs don't have the same gap. And even if you stagger your LEDs, sometimes that joining seam from the factory is around the same point in the blade. It's like in the middle of the blade toward the end of the blade. And so if you rotate the blade when it's all done, you'll be disappointed that you didn't fix that, because you will see it all around the same point, you know? So you want to make it so that it looks like there is no gap. That's what you want to try to do there. Mikey Angelo, he says,
Yes.
I
it's not a silly question, but he says, yep, Mikey.
Yeah, I want to
Mikey.
do a 2-part question. Before I do that, JD, I'm still what you call?
You deleted that SD?
Yeah, I already deleted the SD. Tell me what the next step is, and then I want to jump to this next question real quick.
Okay, we'll go ahead and copy those files. So your 5 or 6 fonts, and then that common folder back over to your SD card now.
Because your SD card should be blank because you wiped it.
Yeah,
correct.
So you want to, yep.
I just
want to recopy. Yeah, because now
that's good to know.
That common folder.
Gabe,
are you about to read Eric R's question?
Well, I was, but he's got like a 2-part question. That's what I was just about to say. Because he's talking about. Did you answer that one already?
I don't think so. Let me see.
Okay,
Eric R says, I think.
He says go ahead and read that one, but then like 2 comments down, he's got like a second part to that same.
Oh, a second part to that. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first part is, I think I have seen on YouTube that some blades that both are trans white tri-stars gets differences on the lux meter. I might be wrong. If this is possible, is there explanation? Thank you for the Q&A. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, I come across that too sometimes, and what I think it is different lightsabers. So when I tested with my Profi lightsaber, certain colors, like let's say there was like my Profi lightsaber ran a green color, and I would test it in my lux meter, and maybe I'd get, you know, a certain number. And then I put that same blade in my Plector Labs Crystal Focus Saber on a green, like similar color, and sometimes the number would be higher. And I'm like, what's going on? And I guess like the different boards run the blade, like run their colors differently. So sometimes Gabe would come over and I'm like, oh, the highest number I saw was this green and it was 8,000. And then Gabe would turn on what looked like a green on his saber, plug it in. It was like 10,000. I was like, that's the same blade though. So I think it's the different sabers, that just the different colors and the different sabers kind of make different lux meter readings.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I've seen that too.
His next question kind of leads into that. It says, even if they are the same, is there any different methods of doing some really bright blades even brighter? Also, how does diffusion work and what does it really mean?
Okay, so I'll answer that second part of the question first about the diffusion. The diffusion is like the layers of material you're putting on the LEDs so that they look smoother. So if you're using the COB LEDs like these, which have a continuous like silicone strip over the LEDs, they're already kind of built with some diffusion in them. And let me see if I can, again, I'll try to show you from my, I don't know if it's going to kind of catch there. It looks a little blurry to me, but
Yeah, it's
if you
still a
can
little
tell
blurry.
that there is a bubble on here and all these little individual LEDs are there and they're underneath this silicone strip. So the silicone strip kind of diffuses those. And maybe it doesn't require as much diffusion around that assembly as a strip that looks like this, because the LEDs are separate on this strip and they're not covered by like a diffusion at all. And what you are trying to do with the diffusion is to make this strip, which has individual LEDs, look like it's a single light source. Like your lightsaber on screen in your Star Wars movies looks like it's not made up of individual LEDs. It looks like it's just made up of a light beam, right? Like a plasma beam. So that's the look you're going after, and the diffusion helps you get that look. And so when you have like all these LEDs, like in a TriStar, for instance, you want to have like as much foam as possible. So usually I will try to use the closed cell foam diffuser, that foam tube that has the thickest amount of foam, but yet still goes over my TriStar assembly. So we want like the most amount of foam that still sticks in our 1-inch blade, but also that's like got the most density to it. And up until I couldn't get them anymore, I would use Makoto foam. So Makoto is he's a lightsaber maker from Taiwan, and he makes the string blades that I like, the old style string blades that I used to be a huge fan of. I still love string blades, but I don't really make them anymore. But those type of string blades require diffusion, just like our NeoPixels do. And they work really great for NeoPixels. Now I can no longer get Makoto foam from him in Taiwan, so I have been getting it from Cal at Saber Armory, from KR Sabers, and I asked him for the foam with the smallest hole in the middle, which means I'm going to get the most foam diffusion material on the outside. And when we get the most foam diffusion, like you would think that it's going to make the LEDs dimmer. But in actuality, it just makes them look smoother. When you have the right foam, it just looks great. And Gabe knows, because like he got a particularly good TriStar at the time when I was originally first building TriStars. We made Gabe one. His came out looking pretty awesome. It was like he couldn't really tell where one LED started, another began. It was very, very smooth. So he's very happy with his TriStar. So that's how I try to do it for the diffusion. As far as making the blades brighter, like I guess I don't know if there's a way with these boards to like overpower them. Like, you know, when you have a speaker and you could like turn the speaker up through your like sound section of your board parameters. Jedi Arms Dealer, is there a section in there too for like turning up the power to the blade? Like if you just want to try to pump it up and push the limit. I mean, I'd be afraid to like put too much power in, but these blades can handle 5 volts. So is there a way to like get more power in there? Or?
I think you can increase the battery voltage just a little bit, but I think Dimitri did a test on this and it was negligible as far as brightness. The biggest thing you can do to make sure you're working with the brightest blade possible is use the thickest wires whenever you're dealing with battery connection to board and then board to the blade connector. You want to make sure you have as much copper going to that blade connector as possible. That's going to ensure that you get the brightest blade. The other factor is the battery has to be a high drain. Definitely 10 minimum, preferably 15 amp high drain battery. So those are the two biggest factors I've noticed.
That's great advice, because that also involves like if you can build the saber yourself or have some control over how the saber's built, then you can make sure that those thick, like 20 gauge wires make it into the saber. Because if they're not in the hilt part and you just put it in the blade part, the power isn't going to get to the blade. So the 20 gauge wires that you want to use, like coming off your battery, will also, they're also in my blade. So you want to like have a really straight run of that battery juice going to going to the saber. Like one of the things Irv used to tell me too, Irv from Plector Labs, was when I was asking him questions like this, he would say try to have the wire as short too from, so like in your saber, rather than having like spaghetti wire, you want to have like the as short of a line as possible. He said that will help this situation as well. So Eric, I hope that answers your question.
I think what happened, Space, when Dimitri was doing that test is he was creeping up, into the 5-volt range to what the strips can handle. The strips were just getting hotter. It wasn't really producing much more light. So the way you shrink wrap them, I don't think you could get away with that if you start pushing the voltage up. He was having them like overheat.
Omegtooth is answering your question about the saber, or my question about the saber staff. He says, I haven't seen it tested yet. I think staffs sound better with 2 boards. Yeah, I mean, they would, right? For that reason, like you'd want that second, and maybe for the way the speaker works too, I'm not sure, but you would want the second ignition to come into play. You'd want like a second hum to be there. I remember when I built a saber for Francis that had 2 sides and 2 smooth swing boards. The Crystal Focus 10 boards had 2 of them. When you swing that and it has smooth swing, it's actually really satisfying to get those like double sounds to come out. Those really awesome sounds to be coming out of both hilts at the same time, rather than I guess one board trying to handle that. It wouldn't. I mean, if you had a short, like you're doing like an XR Kun double-bladed lightsaber, you're doing like a really short lightsaber, maybe even one of those like inquisitorial lightsabers, you might need one board and have it operate off that. But sound-wise, it would be better, as Tom says, with 2 boards, I think.
Agreed.
Jim Smith chimes in here on the answer to Eric's question as well. Diffusion actually cuts the overall brightness but makes a more uniform look, and not seeing each individual LED or strip. Yeah, because it kind of takes you out of it. Like if you're like, I like to stand in like a full length mirror when I'm holding my lightsaber and be able to see myself like as you would see me if you were standing in the room, and to see the lightsaber like looks very real. And if you see the individual LEDs, you're not really, it's going to take something away from that. So I totally.
And they call that what? Corn cobbing, right? When you see the individual LEDs.
Oh, Eric got one more question. Let me hit up this question. He said he's going to bed after this. So my last question before going to bed, it's late in Sweden. Please do give a hint of when these awesome blades could be expected to be released, as well as which blades you are releasing. Great question, Eric. Thank you. Yeah, we get a lot of people asking this same thing right now. So what I'd like to do going forward is, like, I kind of made like the way I used to make the blades was we would wait for the order to come in and make the blade. When the Carly King video got released, and Carly King made a video about a couple blades that we sent her, a couple TriStars, she has a lot of people watching her channel. And at that point, a lot of people saw that video. It was like 100,000 views in like a week. So we got like inundated with blade orders and interest in our blade. So thank you very much on that. That's really awesome. Thing that happened to me though was that, I got all these blade orders, and when I tried to get started making them, they each take a while. So some people, were asking where's their blade order. Then I ended up getting sick. I got COVID in that same month, and I was kind of out of commission. So then there's a lot of people waiting for their blades. So what I'd like to do going forward is to create some blades that is like a stock of blades, and then put them on the store for people to buy that are like already made. So I don't have that. If something goes wrong in my life, or I got sick, or I had to work extra hard that week, and rather than people getting angry that their TriStar is not being worked on, I will actually post the stock that I actually have made. So I think that's kind of a better idea. So recently, like I said earlier in the stream, I did find some brighter LEDs with the help of Derek from Civilized Sabers. We got some replacement LEDs for the ones that have been out of stock since August. So that was like, you know, supply issues as well at the time. Was that like not only did I get sick at that time, but the month of August was also the time where the blade LEDs went out of stock. So that was something I hadn't experienced up to that point either, not actually having access to the products to make the blade. So that was tough. And trying to, you know, find various solutions to that issue when there's like this worldwide chip shortage, which causes like cars to be late in different technological products. Those same chips are in these LED strips, unfortunately. So that could be a reason why those Adafruit LEDs still aren't in stock. So we had to find a replacement for those, which we've just found. And so I will post some blades that I make. I expect to have like 4 or 5 TriStars available pretty soon. Right now on the site, I do have some dual stars. If you look, there's like some 34-inch dual stars. If anyone's interested in those are already made. They're on the site. And I should have some DUEL-STAR Omegas as well. And possibly a quad star. And as far as when, like probably like on the TriStars, maybe within a few weeks, and the DUEL-STAR Omega is like a couple weeks after that. So unfortunately, it's kind of slow going. It's like I can make TriStars, Derek can make TriStars in a real pickle. I could ask Jedi Arm Stealer, but I'd rather not. So there's just only a couple people that can make the TriStars right now. So that's
I need to learn. I need to learn how to make them.
So
That's
that's
fun.
kind of the issues that we've been working through, and we're kind of turning the corner on those issues now. But those were the issues that we've been fighting like the past 6 months. So hopefully some of those are behind us, like the supply chain thing. Like I said, these new LEDs that we got are better. They're actually brighter than before. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yes, they are.
I got a question for you guys.
Titan
So
is here.
let me-
What's going on, Titan? Go ahead.
What's
Muda.
up, Titan?
Hey, Jay,
So,
real quick before
what do
you
y'all?
though, what I saved everything to the SD card. Do I just go ahead and pop it back in now?
Yeah, you're gonna pop it back in the Saber, and then when you get a chance, open your config, and that's the easy part.
All right, go ahead, Mundo. I'm sorry. Let me do that.
No, you're good, man. No, you're Gabe. You were totally first,
I don't want to
dude.
drag you guys all night with this.
No, you were totally
Rather
first,
knock
dude.
it out,
No
get it out
worries. All right, so question, guys. What do y'all think of these clamp cards that I made? So
Oh, love them, Muda.
these are sanded by hand. These are cut and
Those are so
sanded by
badass.
hand by real PCB boards. You know, so here's one, and then here's a second version.
I like that style a lot.
Ooh,
That's really
sexy.
cool.
Now here's one that I was kind of JD. So that look at that one.
Oh yeah, the dot matrix.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, man. So those are what I kind of cut up this weekend, man. I cut up several boards this weekend. With the green one though, I only had one. I was able to cut only one out, so I got to order some more and get those cut up and get them, working on. But yeah, man, I got quite a few stack here. I probably got probably about
You know what I call that, Mundo? I call that saberfying. You were saberfying
Right.
all weekend long. That's lucky.
Saberification.
Saberification.
I got about. So I got a few of each little stuff except for the green one. The green one I'm gonna have to order and get some of those and get those cut and everything. So yeah, man, I got quite a few people already wanting some of these, so that's kind of cool. Yeah.
That's awesome, Mundo. That is really cool.
I'm glad you guys
Titan
liked
says,
them.
good to see
those
you
are
all.
dope.
Love learning about blades. That's awesome. Good to see you, Titan. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, so we're gonna try to split this video up. Like afterward, I'll split it up into like the different questions. Maybe make a video with all the questions kind of like back to back, or maybe make a video where there's different questions. So if you just want to see like one part of it, you can just go to that one part. Let's see.
But
Jim says,
then
check it out. Let's check it out.
Are those new
Jim
leads
said he can't.
35-35s?
Jim said I still can't decide if I want a TriStar kit or a PENTA-STAR kit. Get them both, Jim.
That's the best thing to do. Get them both.
Jim did do the math on that, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, he did the math. I mean, it's probably in
Yeah,
the
it's saying
comments somewhere.
5.77 amps. So
Get the OctoStar, the Tri and the PENTA-STAR together.
Yeah, see, Jim Smith has a good point too, is that like a lot of this stuff, see, like the way stuff used to happen in the saber world was like back in like 2010 was things happen slowly. You know, someone would announce something, there'd be like a new technology, and then maybe a year and a half, 2 years later, it'd be available. Things happen faster now. He says you also have to remember COB Pixel is only 2 years old. Yeah, so it seems like a lot longer that I've been working with them seriously, because I guess time flies when you're having fun with
That
them.
it
But
does.
wow, 2 years isn't a very long time, so you really never know when. Oh, here's some ones Jim sent me. Oh, I have tried these before. He sent me a text, but I haven't tried the NeoPixel version. So he sent me a link with some thinner COB strips that I could try. These are color changing RGB. See, I have tried ones that are about this thick, Jim, that you sent me in the text here on my phone, but they were only green. So I know how to make like a COB, a blade that could be like, let's say a four-sided blade or something, but it could only be green. But these ones here that he's showing me are that I can try. I can order some and try. Those are actually RGB, so we'd be able to see. And he also sent me a link for foam. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, well, I will try that. Like, I'm always looking for good foam. Saber Bay, he probably has the KR foam, but I will look into that in a little bit. I will look into that link that you sent me for that foam. Usually the Saber Bay stuff, Justin, is connected to Cal at KR. So I'm thinking if I got it from KR, probably the same thing that Justin has, but I will look into that on Etsy. Send me an Etsy link from the Saber Bay, which is Justin's site. Friend Justin from FX Sabers. 2 amps per strip. Jim says those are 2 amps per strip. But let's see what Titan has to say. Vader's Vault recently said they now have full length strips to their new blades, don't have a dead spot. Yeah, I saw that video they released. I think that those are the 50/50 strips, which unfortunately are the ones that I kind of don't like how thick they are. So although they don't have the seam, they are just a little too thick for me to turn into like tri-stars and quad stars and stuff like that. Oh, here's the answer to that question. I think that Tom asked. 800 milliamps times 700 is 5.77. So 5.77 amps. So like 6 amps.
6 amps.
6 amps is still not to the capacity of some of these 18650 batteries, right? He says so almost 6 amps total draw at full power. So in these batteries that you're supposed to have like, continuous 10 amps or something like that, you really shouldn't have too much trouble there. I guess I'm still not at the battery limit. Even when I make a TriStar Omega with 800 LEDs, we're still not at like the battery limit. That's why Gabe's 18650 Saber can kind of work, seems to still work. Jim says, yeah, for any NeoPixel strip, you really don't want to exceed about 5.3 volts for any long periods of time. Yeah. Yeah, for these 5-volt strips. LEDs don't do too well when you overtax them. Like I've making strip blades for so many years before coming into the before NeoPixels got released. I was, NeoPixel's kind of the new thing in town. When people ask, well, what's the next thing in sabers? NeoPixel was kind of the next thing. Like we're in that realm right now of NeoPixel being like the best thing we got going. And they are 5-volt strips, even all the different types of strips we've been talking about, these 7mm wide, 10 or 12mm wide, or even COB strips, they are all 5-volt. So Jedi Arms Dealer probably knows this too from dealing with, hilt building and stuff like that. When you overshoot the voltage on an LED will quickly burn out. So it's not a good idea to do that. You always had to be very careful when you're working with an accent LED or LED for your blade. You don't like overshoot that voltage because it'll just burn right out, and it'll never come back. It sucks, especially when you're doing something that's like in a hilt and it might be glued in or it might be epoxied in. You're trying to have this LED last a lifetime. You don't want to overdo it with the voltage. So it's kind of good that we like run all these blades with like a 4-volt battery usually, so it's not like something we have to put resistors on and stuff like that.
Right.
All right. Next.
Oh yeah, you got your
config
config
farther
open?
and farther away. Is your mic farther away?
No, it's here. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
Amundo BK Saber Sound says clamp card number 2 looks sweet.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it does.
Thank you.
Yeah, Amundo does some good work with those clamp cards. I've got some of them
Yeah.
myself.
What do I
So,
do?
and those are box one. Oh, I'm sorry, Gabe. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. Those are box one version clamp cards. They also fit the low profile box one versions. In later time, I'm going to kind of maybe do some bigger sizes, smaller sizes. I actually want to try to make one for the Kane and Jarrus box. So I'm kind of experimenting with some smaller size clamp cards to see if maybe there might be a little market for those. So if anybody's interested in those, let me know. I can make one. But what I'll have to do is try to get some of these boxes, and that way I can kind of measure it out and then cut and then hand sand, so that way it slides in pretty good, and you're gonna have to either glue them, or I could try to make it where it's pressure fit. So most of these are kind of glued down right now at this point.
Yeah, I'd say better to have that clamp card a little bigger, and then you can sand it down, and
Mm-hmm.
then get it the exact right size that you want, because you can't make it any bigger if it's too small. So it's better that it's
Right.
bigger. Obi Dan says, hi guys, what are those new LEDs? 3535s? So 3535s are like this, Dan. They are those type of strips that have the individual 3.5 millimeter square RGB LEDs. It's not focusing, but hopefully you get the idea there. And then these strips here that I use, that people are calling COB strips, these are what I call Omega. If you look these up online, you want to look up 332. So write down that number 332, which refers to 332 per meter. So in a meter, you'll have 332 LEDs. I make my blade about 32 inches. So when I name that blade DUEL-STAR OMEGA, I'm using about 264 LEDs per side for a total of 512. Or if I'm making a TriStar OMEGA with 3 strips, we're talking we have 792 LED. So Megtooth says 5.77 amps per color. If you were running 5-volt power supply, maybe 4 amps on a 3.7 volt, that's a guesstimate. Then say you'd want to run white, which will combine all 3 LEDs in the pixel. We're talking 12 amps. Yeah, so just outside a normal battery's capacity to run white on those, on the TriStar OMEGA. So no real worries there, because no one has a TriStar OMEGA but me. So I about that, but nobody else does.
I haven't think I've tested that one yet either. I got to test that one.
Yeah,
The
yeah. I want to
TriStar Omega.
Yeah,
That sounds pretty
Jim,
cool, though.
11 amps or 11.66.
All right, I'll be there. I'll be there in an hour. Got to try this out.
Jim says warm white versus bright white, different amps. Yeah, about 12 amps running, depending on if you want cool white or warm white. Oh, Megtooth says I'm ready to build some tri-strip blades and also the Omega blades.
Nice.
Awesome. That's so cool.
Master
High
Mix.
definition.
Wait,
Yeah, I
wait,
think
wait.
you'll have fun with both of those. You'll have a lot of fun with the Omega blade. It'd be a lot of fun
HD.
to like put an Omega strips into like a 7/8. I really like the way those look. And then you can test all your like new Profi blade styles that FET makes. Your all new Profi Profi 3, Profi version 7 stuff on that. It's really cool because like the resolution is just great on those high density blades. You know, talking about 332 LEDs per meter. It really looks high resolution. He wants to make sure he doesn't fry his fets. Well, let me know. Let me know if you fry any fets. If you do, I'll be worried because then I'll fry fets too doing it.
Mm-hmm.
JD, where do I go?
So you're in your config right now?
Yeah,
Okay. And you got it open in text edit?
yeah. The Arduino.
Beautiful. No, well, not in Arduino. You know how you would take that text file that was the name of your saber and you drag it on top of the text edit icon and it opens up in text edit? Do you remember where we edited that? Where you changed the volume?
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Are
In
you-
config. But I put
Yes.
the SD card back in the
That's fine.
board,
Yep.
and then
And so you've got your cable. Do you have your cable hooked up? USB?
Yeah. cable's hooked
Okay.
up.
Excellent. And so yeah, if let me know once you get into that config file in text edit. You in there?
No, where do I find that?
You know remember where you launched the Profi OS? There's the profi.eno file that's in there that we open up Arduino with.
So I got to go to the website.
No, it should be right there on your desktop. It should say Profi OS in a folder.
Oh, I got it. Hold on. Yes.
Okay, so if in that folder towards the top, there's a folder in there called config. You're going to open that folder.
Got it. It's open.
Mundo, you
so,
paying attention?
Do you remember your custom file, config file that you made? What was the name of it?
Yeah, it's down at the bottom. Rendari config.
That's right. Yeah. So you're gonna grab that. And did you make a shortcut for text edit in your tools, your applications along the bottom of your screen, or is it still in your applications folder?
Text edit. Yeah, I made a shortcut.
Nice. So then you're just gonna click once on that config file and drag it on top of the text edit icon, and it should automatically open it in text edit.
Drag and drop it right in the text edit.
Yep. It should launch text edit and then open it up in text edit.
Yeah, it's in there now.
Beautiful. All right. So I put it in the private chat how it's supposed to look. If you scroll down to your first font name, which would be font 1. Basically, you're going to have, let me know when you get there, your first font name in your config file.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the name. I think fine, no, text, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I think it's, no.
It should be at the top of all your blade styles. So if you scroll down in that config text edit document, you should see it in quotes. The name of your first font. When you get
Yeah,
there,
I got
let me know. Okay. So basically how it's going to look is it's going to have a quote like it already does, and then the name of your font, and then you're going to put a semicolon before the second quote, and then you're going to type in the word common, and then the second quote is at the end. If you want to look at private chat, I typed in there how it's supposed to look.
Yeah, I see it in there now. And where is that supposed to go?
Basically, all you're doing is adding semicolon, comma right after the font name, but you want to make sure it's within the quotes.
So it's got to be inside the quotes after the name.
Correct.
So it's font name, semicolon.
The word
What does
common.
the common word do? What does that do?
The common notation is basically pointing it to the common folder that's now on Gabe's SD card that holds all of the WAV files for the menu vocals.
And am I
So when
adding that to each font name?
Yes. So basically, if you want vocal menu edit mode to work on every font, you would put it in on every font line. If there's a font, say, oh, you know what, I don't want to use edit mode on this font, you don't have to add that. So that's why it's kind of an option.
So it's like a little pathway, so to speak, when you put common on there, right?
Correct.
Do you think like a good workaround for like adding like you know, you have to kind of like, if you wanted to add a font at the end of his list, he also has to go into the USB coding and change and add like the parameters. Do you think it's
Not
a good
anymore.
idea to
Go
like
ahead.
for, you know, like to let's say at the end of his font list, like let's say he has 8 fonts. Do you think it's a good idea to put like a parameter for font 9 and then put a blade style and then font 10 and then font 11, so 3 extra spaces, and then when he finds a new font that he wants, he can just call it font 9 on his folder, drop it in the SD card, and it would look to those parameters? Do you think that's a good idea? Do people do that? Or
Yeah, I actually got a saber here that was that had a Profi core in it, and they set it up exactly like that. They called it Bank 1, Bank 2, Bank up to like, I think there were 49 fonts on the SD card.
Oh, damn.
You
God.
could just like
then
replace those and
then they're like generic font folders that you don't, you know, so you can drop whatever font you want in and out of there. To
So
me,
once
that's
I
confusing.
comment on everything, that's it?
Yeah, then you save it.
How do I save it? Just click on edit and save.
file
file
save.
save.
File save, I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
All right, done.
And then you're going to go back to that folder that the config folder was in,
Okay.
and then close out of that config folder, but then scroll down until you get to that profi profios.eno.
Wait, close out the Profi OS folder?
Well, actually, just click back. I think, can you click back from there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so if you scroll down in that Profi OS folder, there should be a profios.eno file in there.
All right, I see it.
Yep, double click that.
All right, it opened up in Arduino.
Okay, now let's go ahead and just make sure we don't have any errors. Go ahead and click the check box.
Verified.
Sure. Yeah, we're just going to verify that your code is good. At this point, it's not communicating with the board. It's just making sure that what you've done in that text edit config file is proper.
It's proper.
I'm going to read off another question from Alec Espinoza. He says, I am having a lightsaber installed with a crystal chamber. Will a TriStar blade drain the battery even faster? I'm not sure if the chamber and blade together will cause any problems. No, I don't think you'll have any problems because a crystal chamber, like, it's only going to have like an LED or two, a NeoPixel LED or 2 or 3 at most, you know, and that's not really going to add much to the entire draw. So with the TriStar blade, you're going to have 350 LEDs running, but you're also going to have these more efficient LEDs than your normal LED blade, which has 5mm LEDs. A TriStar blade has 3.5mm LEDs, so they're a bit smaller. And even though there's more of them, they're probably about as efficient, and you shouldn't have any problems at all. That should be fine. A crystal chamber is only going to have, you know, a couple RGB NeoPixels at most. It's not going to affect your overall battery consumption. You should be cool.
Yeah. And essentially, if you're worried about you know, the length of time that you can use the saber, it's always a good idea to up your battery size. You know, if you're running 18650, you know, if you're building into it, then, you know, run a 21700. If you want more, then do what I do, is 26650. If you want to run that big of a battery, but Usually I believe that the 21700s are pretty sufficient.
Yeah, that's like the most you need for a saber. Really, is a 21700
Yes.
be like a beast. 26 650 is even better, but that's like nobody really has. That's kind of like covering all bases. 26 650. Not everyone can fit that in their saber.
No.
Jim Smith says, "Yeah, Alec, you probably won't notice much of a drop in battery life with a crystal chamber running. A little bit, but not dramatic. Yeah, I don't think you'd really notice it either. It'd be
All
too
right.
small to really notice."
Successfully, checked out.
It verified, but you haven't uploaded it yet.
Correct.
Okay, so go up to tools at the top of the screen and make sure that Arduino sees your Profi. Remember, you got to select the Profi board.
Yeah. It's
Gabe
checked
just
off
had a
on-
victory. Victory.
It's checked off on Profi board V2.
Beautiful. Now click that box
Victory.
next to the.
It's working. It's working.
Click what you said?
You know the box next to the. You remember where you click the checkbox to verify?
Yeah.
The icon right next to it is the upload button.
Oh.
So you got to click that, and then that should start uploading it to your saber.
All right. It's just compiling sketch right now. It says.
BK
Okay.
Saber Sound says, "If Gabe gets this Profi working, I'm taking a shot tequila."
There you
All right,
go,
get your
man.
shot ready. I think it might work.
We
think
Man
we
after
got it
my own
working.
heart.
We got it working. We're just about to make it talk to him, which I don't know if it's going to get on his nerves or he's going to think it's awesome.
Normally he doesn't like the voices on things, but he might like this because if this like helps him get around the menu and different things, he might like this.
Yeah, you kind of have to have it to go in there and edit your blaster color and your lockup color and stuff. But what I did with mine is I removed the font color names, so when I roll it, it doesn't go green, yellow, green. I got rid of that.
I might have to grab one of my small bottles, man, so I can do
take
the
a shot
victory
with them.
shot. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Shout out to BK Saber Sounds on his brand new gray Paladin sound font. If you don't have it, go get it. I have it. I love it. That
Is
ignition.
that the one you just got tonight?
I got it last week when we were live. When we were live, I got anytime he drops something, I'm like on it. I'm listening to it. He's one of the good ones, man. He pays attention to detail when making his fonts. As do a lot of these guys out there making amazing fonts nowadays, But he's one of my favorites, man. And he dropped that great Paladin last week, and I downloaded it, and I love particularly the ignition sounds so realistic to me. You know me, I like tweaking my own stuff anyway. I drop it in Audacity in one of these. I'll tweak the swings here or tweak whatever on it because it's just my preference. But overall, it's a sick font. I say, get it. All right. Transitioning to the state. Okay.
Wow.
So
and
wait,
it was all done. It went like 100%.
When it finished uploading, did I hear what do you remember what it said? Was it the boot sound or did it say something else?
Was it like a chime?
It said something else. It didn't say boot. It said something, but it says done uploading. Transitioning.
Oh, you know what? I think you have to have, because I remember you said you don't like using tracks, and I see the tracks folder inside each font folder. So, go over to your SD card files on your desktop.
Isn't track something I would have to manually choose anyway?
Well, but it just the system needs to see the folder. It can be empty, but the folder needs to be in there. I'm pretty sure you'll get that. And help me out, Tom, if this is true. If that tracks folder isn't in each font folder, you'll get that font directory not found because it's looking for the tracks folder. Even though you're not using it, it still needs to be there.
So what do I do?
So you're going to go into your SD card folder on your desktop that contains your, was it 5 or 6 fonts? I can't ever remember.
Yeah, the Profi OS folder.
No, it should be the fonts for your saber.
Oh,
that now contains the common folder. Yeah. So you're what's the first font on there?
The Rendari one.
Yeah, open that up and tell me if there's a tracks folder in there. If there's not, we need to make one.
Yeah, right after Rendari : common. there's tracks in quotation tracks / Venus.wave.
Wait, which folder are you? Where are you?
The Vendari config.
No,
It
no,
makes
no.
sense
no.
if your config calls for each track from the track folder. It'll look for tracks folder for each font.
Yeah. So go. Okay, you remember the folder that now contains the common folder with all the voices and your fonts that we copy to the SD card, Gabe?
Yeah.
That's the folder you need to be in to look
Okay.
for what I'm talking about.
All right,
We're
where am I?
done. We're done with the config part of it.
Okay.
So on your desktop, you've got a folder, the folder that you drug over all the contents over to your SD card when you pop the SD card into the computer. That's
Yeah.
the folder you want to be in.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay. And then what's the first font?
Dyad.
Okay, so open that folder and tell me if there's a folder in there named tracks.
Nope.
Okay, so you need to make a new folder within that font folder and name it tracks. And I believe it's lowercase.
Should he just like drag a tracks folder from somewhere, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It can just be an empty tracks folder in there. It just has to be in there for edit mode to work. Well, not for edit mode to not give you that message every time you boot the Saber, you know, font directory not found.
Does this make sense to you what Megtooth is saying?
Common tracks, Luke.wave. Yeah, I think he's talking about. Well, I did see your video, Tom, where you put your tracks folder inside the common folder. Should we do it that way? Yeah, okay. That's how I do it. Should we do it that way, or does it matter?
I bet it does matter.
Because until I saw your video, I already had mine set up in the individual font folder. So I think you were
Then
saying
your
it's
saber broke.
easier to keep it organized or access it in USB mode. Okay, yeah. Tom says it
That's
doesn't
one
matter.
thing you fucked up.
All right, so I put the tracks folder in there. What do I do now?
So go into each one of your font folders and make a tracks folder.
He's unfucking it up.
You gotta unfuck it.
Is that like unsticking it?
Jim Smith says, I hear Profi is harder in iFruit OS than Tiny Soft OS. I think it is.
Oh, jeez.
Size counts. Damn it.
It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock
Tiny
now. We're
Soft.
going into the R-rated version of the half of the show.
Your kids are asleep.
All right. Creating the tracks folder, all lowercase letters in the last font now. Done.
Okay, now we got to get that on your SD card. So, I mean, there's one of two ways you can do it. You can pull the SD card back out again, or you could re-upload and you might just pull it out of the. Just go ahead and pull it out because we don't. It's just best your Saber works smoother if it's a fresh copy on the
Best if
SD
you
card.
pull out early.
Isn't that coitus interrupti?
Chim says any speculation on the release of Profi 3? That'd be a great question for Tom.
Tom's in here.
He's already testing Profi 3, so he probably knows.
He is the grandmaster tester.
He probably knows when it's actually coming out to us plebs.
What do I do?
Tom, when's the Profi 3 coming to the pleb union?
For the plebs.
See, Tom's got a Profi 3.7. We ain't going to get Profi 3.1, 3.2, 3.2, 3.4. He's already got 3.7.
VIP Megtooth.
It works great, but it's not for everybody.
Oh,
Problem,
geez.
Says the problem is that the processor chip isn't available.
That sucks.
Pandemic. Mundo, what are you
Wow.
doing with those processor chips? How many Terminator machines do you have to make?
I gotta make more. Damn, I can't let you know my secret. Damn it.
He's building T800s and he needs all the chips for the T800s. Unfortunately,
That's
right.
frustrating. Frederick's got to go back to the drawing board to.
Yeah, isn't it weird with like an
chips.
entire whole world and everyone builds their one chip in one building, this one building in Taiwan, and
Now,
we can't get the chips.
I'm kind of working here a little bit with some blade hold. Not blade hold, crystal holders cut from bullets. So I'm trying to.
Oh,
Pew, pew, pew. That's awesome.
What do you think?
Yeah,
I think you should
brass.
charge more if the bullet has killed someone.
Oh, it's killed plenty of deer.
Just leave a little bit of gunpowder in there when you ignite your saber. It's like,
Well, you know, the cool thing about it is if you see these, they're naturally weathered, right? They're naturally weathered.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna leave some of these like this, and then others I'll just like really shine up. Like I'm gonna work on one tonight and shine it up and see how it's gonna look. You know, all prettied up. Got my my cleaning powder right here. And
nice.
got the buffer thing going down right here. So once we all get done, I'll be ready to get it done. And
same drill as before, Gabe. Just you're gonna delete everything on that SD card, reformat it using disk utility, and then drag everything back over again.
Oh damn!
And you should be done.
This ain't a fool's game.
all right, how does that look?
Oh,
yeah,
that looks really cool.
Looking crystally.
Is there a crystal on the right already in there?
Looks like you got some Swarovski stuff up in there.
No. So like I said, so yeah, like I said, I'm just working on things right now, but
that's really sweet.
Trying to figure things out. I got
an idea there too. I'll have to draw it up for you.
All right, erased.
Redrag everything.
Yeah, we're trying to set up Gabe's saber with Profi with a new feature. If anyone has any questions about Civilized Sabers blades or anything really, just let us know. We'll do our best to answer. Gabe, when you get a chance, if you have any questions that you didn't hear asked tonight, but that you get often, you let me know, and I will.
Well, I think you answered. I think the most common and asked question, which was, when are we restocking? People want to buy tri-stars. People want to buy quad stars. You know, things like that. One of the questions I think I had mentioned to you too that was asked before was the type of wiring needed and used to push.
Yeah, for people that are working with their own, when they buy a tri-star kit or they buy a quad star kit, what you want to do is like use the best wire you can, which would be like a 22 or a 20 gauge wire would be best for the positive and negative. And if you could find a wire that was like the how do I say, like a smaller diameter, then you know, in that size, so like a 20 gauge or 22, and for the data you don't need as big of a wire gauge, so you could use anything that's like a 30. You could use a 28. The data just is carrying the signal for the blade operation. It doesn't have to be one of the same type of wires you use for the positive and negative. So that's what I suggest there. You know, go for your heavier gauge wire on the positive and negative. And if you're building your own saber, do that same gauge wire that you're using for your blade inside the saber as well, for your positive and negative, for your battery and for your kill key and for your power going into the board. And then use that same 20 or 22 gauge wire on your blade as well. For the data, you can go very thin wire, like your speaker wire should be okay for the data. That's what I use. 30 gauge wire for the data. I use a silicone covered wire for the data in 30 gauge. Seems to work great every time. Has some flex to it. So I never really have a problem with the data wire. I'm always concentrating on making the positive and negative be like the highest quality wire that you can use in that gauge, which like I said would probably be like a 20 gauge wire if you can manage that inside your saber, or like a 22.
All right, erased.
And did you redrag all the contents over again?
You've been erased.
Beauty. You should be done. When that's done, copy and eject it and put it back in the saber. Hopefully we got no.
Recheck it.
No.
Verified.
Nope.
All right,
Nope.
so just pop it out, pop it back in the saber.
Yeah.
How come he doesn't
Now-
need to verify again? Because nothing changed with the code.
Correct. Yeah. Because he already uploaded the code when he added the semicolon common after each font name. So that's fixed.
So what did he
That's
have to
done.
put on the board, like the voice tracks that make those voices?
Yeah, there's a separate waves folder in there called the common folder now on his SD card. That's syncs it all up.
Do I unplug the saber?
Yeah. Go ahead and unplug it, pop the SD card back in, and boot it. And let's hope we don't have any file directory not found.
He'll have to
Yeah.
unfuck it up again.
Gotta hold your
Unfuck it.
Yeah,
What?
it said it failed.
What?
Yeah, file
Well, try-
directory.
Try to power it up. I want to see if the blade turns on or whatever.
Not found.
You change the fonts.
File directory not found.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, power it down. Oh, it's one button.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Tom, if you're still in here, refresh my memory on how to power it up one button into edit mode. I sent you Fet263's video on how to do that now. You may just, you know what? You may just need to, he says, I don't know which
Don't
pub file.
know which pub file.
He's using Fet263's one button. Try holding down the power button for like, I don't know, 3 seconds and see if it boots into, or just hold it down until see if the blade comes, or yeah, see if it powers up.
Nope.
Nothing happening?
No.
Not directory not found. Not directory not found. It's the microwave.
So it's working, but every time you go to a new font. Yeah, the only reason that would be happening is because it can't see the tracks folder. You used all lowercase when you made the tracks folders inside the font
Yeah.
folders.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch Fet's video on how to boot it or power it up into edit mode with one button. It's probably like,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Shit.
I second to the next font. It keeps saying file directory not found.
yeah, that's got something to do with it's not able to see the tracks folder. So I'm confused at this point.
So how about
Well,
if
if you backtracked after he put the commons folder stuff on there, right? He had the comments and then he did all that and then he ended up you deleted it, you put the comments and then you put it back on. But then you had that tracks folder. What was it? The folder that you had put, the tracks folder, right? You told him like the empty tracks folder in there.
yeah, what I'm saying is though, how about I just delete those folders then?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
Good idea.
they have, I'm pretty positive they have to be in there.
Oh really?
Tom's reading the one button controls right now. I just want to see if it'll boot up into edit mode and then we can get rid of that message.
BK Saber Sound says he's putting away the tequila. He'll wait till the next stream. You fucked up.
Oh man, I want you to take a shot for me, man.
Hey, wait a minute. I still have mine right here just in case. Well, it is Bacardi. It ain't tequila, but I drank the
Tom's
tequila.
checking out the one button controls. Maybe something's different.
So we
I
had to
just don't
maybe.
know why you're getting the font directory not found, because it wasn't doing that before, and all we've done is upgraded it to edit mode.
Right.
Let me look at let me look at my config for Jeff's saber here.
Could it be just like a
I figured it out. We have to define it in the config. My bad.
I figured that. That's why
Yep.
I said, should we send it through and check?
Yep,
On the
you were
thing.
on it. No, it needs to say FET263 edit mode menu,
So I need to take the SD card out.
and it needs to say enable all edit options. No, you can leave the SD card in. All you're going to do is connect the USB cable.
Chuck Alvarado is here. What's going on, Chuck? He says,
What's up,
hey,
Chuck?
guys. FET has a new config editor alpha stage now. I tried it out yesterday and it works well.
Nice.
That's because Chuck is an alpha. So alpha editor worked for him. Alpha editor worked for Chuck.
Okay, so now my only.
Okay, Megtooth found something out. He says enter edit mode while off, double click and hold power.
Okay, so it's tap, tap, hold. Or is it tap, hold? Disabled.
That's how Mundo kills people.
All right,
Double
I'm going to
tap.
send you the two lines
Just
you
a-
need.
just
Okay.
a tap. One single tap.
I'm plugged back in.
Nice. So you're going to go back into that config text edit file, and I'm going to paste into the private comments what you need to put in there. Private chat. There we go. Ah, why does it do that? It put the return in the wrong place, but we'll get through it.
So I'm going into.
Yeah, so let me know when you're in, when you drag. Are you still in there? Do you still have the text edit file open, which is the config file?
No, I had
Fuck
closed it out.
mode.
Okay, no worries. You remember how to do that? Go into the config folder and then drag that on top of the icon.
So yeah, do I go into the font folder and go into the new Profi's voice pack?
No, nope. You're gonna go. Remember, in the
Profi
Profi OS. Yep. And then towards the top, there's a config folder.
Yeah.
Open that up, and
And then
then
go to
you're
the
gonna,
bottom.
yeah, go to the bottom, and then drag that on top of the text edit icon at the bottom.
Done.
Let
It's
me know when
open.
you're in there. Okay, cool. So if you look in the private chat, those are technically two hashtag defined lines that you need in there to make it work.
Do you see what Megtooth wrote? Is that the same thing you have, Jedi?
Yeah. Yep. That's the same thing I'm
Both-
sending them.
both
So
those-
thank you, Tom.
Both
Go ahead.
of those defined lines I have to put in.
Yeah. And so they're going to go where all the rest of the defines are. I mean, you can put it anywhere grouped in with the hashtag define towards the top of the config.
All right, hold on a second.
Do we need angel music to help with this, or
Where does that go?
Well, that's the problem.
Oh,
Where does that go?
Okay,
You
so
said?
do you see where it says define clash threshold? And that's where you typed in, like, I think it was 2.5 or 3.0, kind of just below your volume.
Yes.
Do you see all those things that say hashtag define?
Yes.
So you're going to put it, just wedge it in between there.
Anywhere in between there.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Matter of fact, I'm
That's fine.
gonna hit return.
Yeah, because you want to turn the thing I sent you. You want to make that two separate hashtag defines.
Oh, see, he said it too. He said we need the music from heaven. Everyone pray.
yes, Meg. I pray right now. I'm praying really hard. I am praying really hard.
All right, so I put them both. On
What up, Felicia?
The threshold.
So
Jedi, is this the same thing that Tom is writing that you're telling him? to put?
Tom's adding some extra ones because I did that too on Jeff's build, and so he's got the disabled diagnostic commands because that actually will drive you nuts. I mean, I could send him exactly what I have in mind, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of code that FET263 recommends, but you only need the 2 to make it work. I think.
Oh, because DK
Wow.
just put it away.
We are churching it. We're churching it hard.
Hey, and space is drawing them in. If you build it, it will come.
All right, so
Jim's all
what do I do now?
no.
So you can go back to. I wonder if the disabled diagnostic commands would get rid of that font directory not found. Now
There you
I'm
go,
curious.
Felicia.
So basically, go ahead and leave your text file open. You don't need to close out of that yet, Gabe. Now, did you save it under file?
Saved.
Okay. Now go back over to. Is Arduino still open?
Yeah.
Sweet. Go into Arduino, and you got your saber plugged in,
Yeah.
Here it comes.
and it sees your saber for sure in Arduino. And so you can verify or hit upload. It should work as long as you put those.
You want to roll the
hashtag
dice?
defines the two
Just hit
separate lines.
upload.
I'm hitting verify.
There you go.
He's unfucked. He's unfucked. Watch.
I'm hitting verify.
Verified will make it guaranteed.
Gabe's playing it safe like a condom.
All right, there you go. Bam, done.
Sweet.
Bam.
Upload. As long as it sees your board, upload that puppy.
Did you hear what he said? He said, upload that fucker.
Didn't we have to put the SD card in, you said, to do that, or no?
No. Nope. The SD card can stay in your saber. All we're doing is updating that config file, flashing your board.
All right, let's see what it says. Download.
Remove your butt plug before we start.
Yeah, and whatever you do, Gabe, never unplug that USB cable until you hear your saber make a noise. If you do that, it'll freak out the processor, and you got to do this reset boot board thing, and it's kind of a pain sometime on Mac.
I didn't know that.
So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, you can bring it back to life if it only so let's say only half of the file uploads to the Profi, then it doesn't know what to do. So then that's what those two little buttons on the board are for, is to put it in bootloader mode.
Okay.
Those are some insider thoughts.
What did you say?
Is it working yet?
All right.
Did it make any sounds?
Yeah, it said something, but I didn't understand what it said. But it wasn't. It didn't say what it said last time.
Oh, okay. Well,
Could
try
be
it
a good
out.
sign.
Unplug it and
BK, are you ready? Are you ready? Because I'm ready, dude. I mean, come on. Come on, dude.
oh, shit.
Damn right, BK. I'm always ready, man. I don't need an excuse for this, actually.
He's mad because he wanted to take a
He'll
shot.
drink if it's not working.
My fault.
Yeah, I'll drink to that.
It's working! It's working!
How about turning on the kill switch?
After all, what are we? Merchants, miners, tinkers, toy makers. Hardly the stuff of legend.
Still saying it.
Oh,
What? It's still saying font directory not found?
Font
Shut
directory
up.
not found.
Oh, damn.
How's that possible? Do me a favor, Gabe. I just want to hear if it'll go into edit mode. So
Oh.
double tap and then hold and see if
You know what? I
with it
got
off.
an idea. I got an idea. I'm gonna take a drink and then it's gonna work. Watch.
Just double tap and hold.
Yeah.
Error in font directory.
Error in font
Dude.
directory.
Yeah, Tom's saying try to get to edit mode. That's
Error
what
in
it's
font
doing.
directory.
Whoa,
So
we
it's-
new time!
Found.
Yeah, keep saying it.
Good times. You may have to have all 5 of
BK,
those.
yes.
those
Holy
lines.
water's right.
I might have to have what?
All 5 of those. Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
4, 5,
Meg Tooth
6,
says
6.
maybe delete all INI files on your SD.
Meg says an error in the font directory means you have a .wav file with a bad number sequence.
He's got a
Well, he
6,
wasn't.
6,
What's
6
weird
up
is he
in
wasn't
there.
getting any font directory not found errors until we started adding all the common folder stuff because we've been taking this in increments so we know it works.
Blasto
So,
1, Blasto
Tom,
2, Blasto
does he
4.
have to have that disabled diagnostic commands defined in there? Yeah, no, the blast 1, 2, 4,
All right,
all
click
that's
back
good.
in again. Now what?
Oh, you're plugged back in again?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna send you all the same that I have Jeff set up.
So, but now do I have to delete the other 2 that I just put in?
Okay, Tom, I think Tom's saying that we need the disable diagnostic commands line. So I'm sending you a new group of things.
I'm gonna highlight
it's all
all of them and I'm gonna copy and paste them.
Wait, what? Don't slow down. Don't do that. What are you doing?
I said the ones you just sent me, I'm gonna highlight them, copy and paste them into the folder.
Into the config file?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. In text edit.
Correct.
Okay, cool. You scared me for a microsecond. I thought you were in the SD card.
Yeah.
No, I'm in the Profi OS folder that's on my desktop.
Yep, inside the config folder.
Yep. The
And
and
then-
the text folder thing.
Okay, cool. So are you in text edit right now looking at your config file?
Correct.
Okay, so I just sent you a whole bunch of defines.
Yeah,
You
I just
already have-
copied them all. Where do I put them? Up
Okay,
at the same
cool.
list at the top.
Well, you already have 2 of them in there.
Correct.
But yeah, you're basically going to replace the 2 that you've got that you put in there previously.
So should I
Did you-
delete the 2 that I put in previously?
Sure. And then just paste in all 6.
Okay.
Is this happening what Tom's asking for? He said you need to disable basic parser styles.
Yeah, I thought one of the videos that I saw FET263s we only needed the two line defines, but when I dug deeper into FET stuff, it was recommended on, I don't know, TRA or one of those sites that we put all 6 of these in here. That's going to save code space and all kinds of cool
Be right
things.
All right, done and saved. Do I hit check, verify?
So okay, yeah. As long as you got your hashtag defines on separate lines, and so you ended up with 6 different hashtag define lines.
Oh, hold on, missed the one.
Tom saying you do need to delete the INI files off your SD card.
Okay, I'm gonna show you. Can we do that after we upload, Tom? Like once it connects via USB to the desktop, so we don't have to pull his SD card out again? Can we do that, or is that going to mess up the SD card if we yank them off of there with it connected via USB after upload?
And do I have to wipe out my card again?
BK
That's
Saber
what-
sounds.
that's kinda what I'm trying to find out.
Look at his config as his track directory naming versus the actual SD card to see if it matches the right directory.
Yeah, that part's straight. Because this was working until we added
How
edit
about
mode.
if
the
I
common
share my
folder.
screen?
Yeah, you could do that. If no one's got any blade questions, right?
I'll be right back, you guys. 1 sec.
Right on. Tom says you don't have to reformat the whole card. Okay.
No.
So what we're gonna do is upload And before you upload, well, if you can share your screen, I can walk you through how to get your SD card back on your desktop.
All right. So
without having to pull the SD card out of the Saber.
I shared it, but he's got to authorize me in there.
Okay. Hold on. Can I do it? Yeah, I gotcha.
All right. So there we are. Hold on. Let me minimize this. So here's my text edit.
Beauty. Show me the top where you put those hashtag defines in. You got 6 of them in there now.
Yeah, right here under audio is where I copied and pasted. So starting from here.
Okay, so you got enable all edit, disable basic. Beautiful. Perfect. Look at that.
5, 6. Yep.
Yep. Okay. And so then go back to Arduino.
Right here.
And then you already verified with the checkbox or no?
No, not yet.
Yeah, let's do that just to make sure.
All right.
We're cooking with gas.
Compiling sketch. Let us see what transpires.
Beautiful. Okay. Now, Gabe, go to the top where it says tools. Wait, you're in Chrome, so click on, there you go. Go to tools. Yep. And then go to, see where it says serial? So you're going to do serial plus mass storage. Yep. Okay, now click the upload button. And you got your Saber plugged in for sure?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yeah, as soon as I plugged it up, it said the same thing again. File directory not found.
Well, it's probably going to say it again until we get the .ini files off of there, because that's basically writing to the card your preferences, and we need to get rid of that. Then when you reboot, theoretically, it should work.
Was I supposed to do that now then before I did all this?
No, it doesn't matter. The SD card and then what you do with the config are two totally different things.
So if you look at the bottom here, it says there's an error.
It's still uploading though. Like, do you remember how we can expose the progress? You remember how to drag that up?
Oh, right? Yeah.
There, yep. See, it's still going. So you're good. Yeah, keep that where you can see it. That's always nice to be able to see. That way you don't unplug your Saber too early if you hallucinate and think you heard your Saber say something. Okay, that's okay. Now like minimize everything so you can see your desktop. And look for your SD card. It should pop up on the desktop here any second. Sometimes it takes a couple.
There's your
minutes.
Pornhub login.
There it is. Open that sucker up. Now see all the files in there that are .ini.
Yeah.
Put them in the trash.
Those are the reggae files. I.
Wait, global.ini. Yep. Okay, now empty the trash.
How about this TMP and TMP?
I'm pretty sure those are fine. I've never done it this way before, but
all right, done.
Tom, should we get rid of the current state and the global, or just INI?
And now that I remove those INIs, am I supposed to go back and verify on Arduino?
Oh, he says delete temp files too. So okay. Yeah, get rid of all of them.
Yeah, see?
Boom.
Yeah, the temp
Thank
files.
you, Tom. And empty that trash.
All of them.
All right, that should do it. Wait, whoa. Oh, Profi OS voice pack. There, no, we need to change that to common. I was like, what is that? There we go. Change the name of it.
To common? Like that?
Yep.
Maybe
now that might have been why we were getting these errors. So now we're golden. Yep. Now unplug and reboot the Saber.
You have to unplug.
Feel your destiny. I mean, reboot saber.
You almost sound like the Palpatine from Robot Chicken.
Damn, that looks a little low.
All right, so that's dead.
BK Saber sounds like saying something about Uranus. Do you want to read that one?
You better be talking about the solar system.
You best pronounce that Uranus. Big styles show the tracks directory as tracks.
That was strange.
His SD card, he doesn't have tracks folder in the highest folder.
Now it's booted up.
Yeah, now the with OS 6 and edit mode, tracks folder either has to be in each individual font folder or now inside the common folder.
Oh, we didn't do that.
No, we should be good. Is it not working, Gabe?
Yeah, I mean it works, but how do I get into
edit mode?
Error in path directory.
Oh, come on. Huh.
What happened? Did it say
I don't know.
something?
We shouldn't have errors anymore because we re-uploaded. Now Tom's saying to double tap and hold again to see if we can like
double tap and hold.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
But it's not saying edit mode. Error font directors.
Oh, it's supposed to say edit mode.
Numbering. Yeah, what's strange, Tom, is this was not happening until we added the common folder and then edited the config to work with the common folder. So he says, I think we need to check the common folder. All right. So go ahead and plug your saber back in, Gabe.
Yeah, it's like not reacting. It's like late reactions to everything. Let's look at the common.
It was working perfectly until we started adding all the common stuff. He says it wasn't named right. Let's see what's just below root.
It says common shit.
Oh, I think I know what he's talking about. Something got messed up inside the common folder because it didn't know what it was.
All right. Now where do I go?
Let's get your SD card to mount again. It should, now that you've set it up for desktop mounting, it should like mount here in a minute or two. So minimize everything so we can see the desktop.
Do I need to take the SD card back out and plug it in?
Nope.
All right.
There it is. So get into Gabe's Profi. Okay, now it's rewritten the stuff again. Let's go back in the common folder. Whoa, now I know what's going on. That's what happened.
What happened?
Pull that common folder out on crap. How do we do that?
Should I get rid of this INI and temp stuff again?
Yeah. So what happens, Space, is he's got a common folder inside the common folder.
Oh.
So pull that
equals, font directory not found.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think on Mac, how do we get that so there's just one common folder without having to copy it all back to the desktop? Oh. Open up the arrow next to the folder. Now grab that common folder and pull it on top. Well, you're going to have to move your window out of the way so you can see your SD card icon. Yep. Now grab that common folder and pull it right. Let go.
Folder
no, that won't work because we got to rename the root folder. So close out of that. Rename the top common 1. Just add a 1 at the end. There you go. Now grab the bottom common folder and drag it into there. Okay, now delete common 1 folder into the trash.
What up, JT?
That's what happened. Good call, Tom.
But we just went right back into the same old stuff.
Says, is that what you guys are doing?
Now that's what it's supposed to look like.
Oh, like that?
Beautiful. Yeah. See, we had a common folder within a common folder. Very bad.
See, Mig, I'm not either, so I'm not a Mac
so
guy.
that should do it. If you want to empty the trash and then unplug it and try it again, Gabe. Reboot.
What's going on, JT? Oh,
What's
glad
up,
to hear
JT?
things are getting more normal for you. Yeah, we'll do a show together soon for sure.
Yeah, man. I'm glad things are doing better for you.
When you open the common folder, there should be no other subfolders. I guess you guys figured that out.
I hope so. We're gonna find out here in a second.
BK is opening a beer.
You're a little late, BK. You were supposed to be helping me because now they're getting it. I told you if I took a drink, they're gonna get it.
Yeah, Mac, dude, why did Gabe have to buy a Mac? Why did I have to buy a Mac? I don't know.
Some people's kids.
Someone
I
tricked
want
me.
to change the battery on it.
Where's that angel music?
Right?
No!
Oh no! We didn't put the angel
No.
music on, and now there's an error. Can we bang the saber on the table? Would that help?
Well, try boot.
You gotta hit it like you did the Millennium Falcon, you know?
Double click hold. Tom's kind of making it sound like there's something we missed in the common folder.
Come on, you gotta get it so I can finish this up.
Okay,
Tom
so Tom
says
says that was the
numbering
problem. I'm reading the
issue.
older one.
Let's try to double tap and hold. Since
Yeah.
Gabe is trying to double tap and hold. Did Gabe collapse? You like $1 Million Baby? He's gonna want to cut his tongue. He's gonna want to bite his tongue.
No, he
The
fell asleep with the
anticipation.
angel music.
I feel like I should like gather around the Christmas tree with my friends and wait for the Grinch to show up.
I'm actually getting lifted up with this music. Let's sing Kumbaya next.
Error in font directory. What do?
Tom says
do
try
the
to do
double-
that double tap and hold thing.
Double
See if you
tap
can
and
go
hold
into edit
again.
mode.
Yeah.
Error in font directory.
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna open this up real slow, and I bet you gotta get it, man. You gotta get it.
Yeah. Plug it back in, Gabe. Double tap and hold, Felicia. Oh wow. That's a double tap entendre, maybe? Whoa.
That's an idea, though. That's a very good idea, Felicia. Double tap and hold.
It's something going on with the Apple computer. Everyone's saying.
Don't be playing with your joystick. Double tap and hold.
You got a big problem.
See, I made the mistake of saying this was real easy to get it in edit mode.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
It's a fruity issue. Jim.
We're done for the night.
Let me guess. Speaker came disconnected?
Yep.
No!
Oh.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Gabe.
Újale.
That speaker was holding on by a thread.
Yeah, because these wires are so thin on here, you know.
Tom says,
Gabe, you almost
Tom
made me
says-
cuss in Spanish, dude.
And get
Tom
we'll
says,
learn
welcome
this
to
lesson.
my
Tom
world.
was trying to teach him anyway
I
about
gotta
this,
remove
so
the
you
speaker all the
you know
time.
how to fix it. He says, I think something is wrong in the common folder, numbers or something. Might be that font saber is booting in. Might be the font that the saber is booting in. He says,
Yeah,
welcome
even-
to my world.
Welcome to my world.
Even though, Tom, it was working before we added all the common folder stuff, it still could be something going on with font 1 because all that was
Gabe's
working
throwing in
great.
the towels. This BK. Gabe's gonna go to sleep tonight without saber sound.
No,
So
the
you're
angel
gonna
said.
have to head back over to Spaces, Gabe.
Well, I got it.
Get it.
I got it on there for now with the because it has the electrical tape on it. So I just kind of
Okay.
put it on.
Yeah,
He's
we need to
he's
get him a
gonna
pogo
tie it,
connector in there.
temporarily. It looks like you're losing your help here. It says
Yeah.
where does he say? He said good night. We'll
Good
drink
night, all.
later.
We drink later.
Yeah. Good night,
Let's see.
man.
He says it's more
It's
like
late in Florida.
the common folder. You guys
Well,
got to
you guys
check
are on
that
the-
common folder. He also says,
Just a
in
reminder, Megan.
parentheses, you fucked up. Now he didn't say that. I made that part up. Jim Smith says yes. Double tap and hold on front and lightsaber on the back.
Ooh,
I don't know what that means.
Okay, I know what we need. We
In
need
edit mode?
Night, Tom. Thanks, man.
Uh-oh, Tom's got to run 4 miles at 5 a.m. off the
Oh,
bed.
shit.
Whoa, Tom. Good luck tomorrow.
Yeah. Good luck.
He's trying to get out of
Unfat.
Oh man.
All right.
I can hear Gabe right now.
Weather's nice
Chingo!
tomorrow, Tom.
Where
Good
do I
luck.
go?
Have a good night.
We're gonna have to share your screen again. You mind, Space, if I click on them?
Go ahead.
Oh, you got it. Oh man.
So get rid of the INI and temp again.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's only writing 2 files now instead of 4. But then again, we haven't made any color changes or. Yeah, I'm lost once we get in the common folder. I don't know what kind of stuff's going on in there.
You guys
I'm
added the
lost.
common folder tonight?
Yeah, that contains all the wave files for the voices, is all that is, and add some other bits. Yeah, double click on that. Let's just look in there. There's waves. Oh, that wrote that today at 10:02. What? I can barely see that, Gabe. What's that called?
Where?
CL, the folder, the blue folder.
CLRLST.
Open that. No, those are waves. Never mind. Go back. Scroll down. We got license text. If these are all waves, then I have no idea what to do next except try to revert back to the previous state so you can get rid of. Whoop. What's that folder? Waves in there?
Waves.
That's all good.
Well, if Meg said that it was a numbering issue, have you checked all the numbers, all the files, and see if they're all in order? Maybe there's one that's out of order.
Yeah, let's look in Dyad. But most of the fonts are from nothing in tracks. That's fine.
And
There has to be probably just one that's out of whack.
Yeah, but
you know,
most of his fonts are from like K-Sith or so. Oh, I see what Jim's saying.
Yeah, that's a good idea for a shirt, Jim.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I'd buy that one. I'd buy that for $1.
Let me look in my
The one button club.
My SD.
One button club.
There you go. Fonts. Yeah, I don't understand. There's 2 M's. And it was a semi. Oh, I know. Show me your show me
like
that
his root
text
folder
file
maybe
again.
doesn't have the right common
Good.
word in it.
I just want to make sure it's set up right. Now take me to where the font name is.
Zoom in if you can, Gabe. It's like Command plus.
Dari, semicolon, common. That's right. Right?
And it's added on all the fonts.
Here's the
'cause
name
it-
right here, Vendari.
and not on others.
Let me. Yeah, that's right. It's semicolon, comma. You got it between the quotes. Did you get rid? There's no. Is the comma still there?
BK Saber Sounds has a tip here. He says in dyad font folder, there's a subfolder for tracks. It looked empty.
Yeah, I don't think anything has to be in there. But we could experiment with that really easily. And because I mean it's verifying, so that's right. Okay, so minimize that, Gabe. Let's try what BK Sabers is saying and go into your go back into your Gabe Profi folder, which is your SD card contents. Yep. And then just for fun, go into dyad, and then it can be any WAV file. So you see where it says like font.wave. Click on that. Right there, yep. Copy that. And then paste that into your tracks folder at the bottom. I didn't think anything had to be in the tracks folder, but it's worth a shot. Paste. Boom. And then just go ahead and do that for all your fonts, just to see if we can fool it. Tracks at the bottom. You're just gonna double click. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna see if we can fool the board. You don't have to do it every time, Gabe. Hold on. Just go in the tracks folder. Yep. Just go in the tracks folder and paste every time.
Paste what?
Just because you've already got it in the buffer, so just go to edit paste.
Oh, okay.
Yep. There you go. And then do that again for the next font. This is just if maybe it needs to see something in the tracks folder. What's weird is I don't think this is going to work because I don't have everything in tracks folders in Jeff's build yet, and it's not giving me errors. So I don't think this is going to. We can try it though.
But everything is unique.
There's no track folder in here.
Oh, that might be the problem. Make a new folder.
Right there.
And name it tracks.
You see?
I don't know if you saw this latest message from BK. If the config points to a path, tracks file name.wave, and the board looks into that path as sees no file, it may cause the font errors.
Yeah, well, let's keep. Yeah, let's stay on this path. So open up that tracks folder now, Gabe, and paste again.
There it goes.
So now, what if the problem was that I didn't have a tracks folder in here, and now that we're copying and pasting this stuff, is that now going to still come out as an error? We're going to think.
Then, like Space says, you done fucked up.
Aaron fucking T.
I didn't say you copy me.
All right, so yeah, unplug it and try it again. That is as far as I know to take it right there. Jim, 3 years later.
Hey, don't tell anybody my secret, Jim. Damn.
This Profi board just put everyone out of business.
Right.
This is crazy, right?
All right. Let's do a little prayer sip right here. Woo.
If this doesn't do it, Gabe, we'll have to work it out on Messenger.
Hey,
gonna work.
Space, you need that little you lose font type sound like game over, game over. No, it's gonna work. It's going to work.
Last time Mundo said that, it worked. I remember.
It took me my whole
Yeah.
life. But I'm gonna die a winner.
I played that when I got done with my memory saber.
He
Are we gonna
sharpened all
die a
his teeth.
winner?
Nah, it's not even booting up now.
And that's not a speaker thing.
Felicia 1 millennia later. Damn, y'all.
BK says-
Yo,
Duct tape that speaker back on. Let's do this.
yeah.
Nah, it's not even booting up.
Y'all quit fucking with Gabe, man. Quit fucking with Gabe. That's why he's getting it wrong.
It's not booting up at all.
Then we
No.
we need to reformat the
Alright.
SD card again.
I got your back, Gabe. I got your back, man.
So I'm gonna have to take it out, right?
Yeah, sorry, man.
All right, done.
Do it. Do it. Just do it. You can do it.
It's-
We've done too many weird things to the SD card to it needs to be reformatted. I love that everyone's hanging out in here with us with suspense on.
Oh, what is
Right?
I should have
Oh,
before I do that,
Brett.
You'll
It's
never
too much
ever have
pressure.
another audience to watch you fail at Profi again.
You heard I should have saved this again?
BK
What's
says
that?
you ever put that battery back in?
Was I supposed to save it before I erase this?
What do you mean save it?
Because we just did some more stuff to it, right?
Well, your folder that contains all the SD files is ready to go. So we just need to pop that SD card in your computer, and then you're gonna delete it, reformat it using disk utility.
All right, it's erasing now.
And you popped it out of the Saber, Gabe?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Now what?
Now you're gonna do what you did before, where you just drag all the fonts, all those font folders, everything back over to the SD card.
Variety.
Can I see your screen when you're doing that? So you're highlighting everything in that folder, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Can you share? All right,
Yeah,
there
I
we go.
gotcha.
Hold on. So this is what I'm doing.
I just. Okay. Yep. Beauty.
That's it, right?
Yeah. Yes, because they all have to be copied at the same time. If you like drag only two or one at a time, it might not work. So, perfect. Oh wait, no. Wait, what happened? Why do we still have Profi OS voice pack? Oh crap. Okay, yeah, kill that. Kill that. Reformat the SD card again.
Well, luckily you
Guys.
caught that right there before everything else.
Yeah, we actually have to go and do that work again. We were trying to do it through the USB access, and I think it just scrambled too much stuff up.
Yeah, so I was asking if we need to save it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Gabe. Good call.
It's
Well,
like-
there's really no way to save it unless we were to
So
drag
go
it.
here. What do I do here?
That would have taken forever to drag it from the Profi. Okay, so again, we got to go back a step. Yep. And then you're gonna. We got to get rid of the okay, so double click on that, and then close up the now drag that out onto the desktop. And then go back, get rid of that Profi OS voice pack folder. Put that back in right there. Perfect. And now let's make sure you've got tracks folders in all of your font folders.
Track.
Yep.
Track.
That's the missing one. So new folder, name it tracks.
I put one in there.
Well, that's because when we were working off the USB interface, so we're kind of
Yeah, maybe it
starting from
didn't
scratch
save
on
it,
the
so
SD
now you
card.
can do it.
Tracks. Tracks.
All right.
So they all have tracks now.
Chuck, out of sheer morbid
Copy
Profi
and paste.
curiosity.
That should do it. Double click on that common folder for me. No, don't double click now. Yeah, now double click on the common folder. Okay, cool. Yep, click back and then copy everything. If this doesn't do it, what the heck? Because this is exactly how I set up Jeff's saber, and it didn't do any of this.
And you set it up on your Mac?
Yeah. Yeah, it worked. It worked first time.
BK Saber Sound says the SD card won't cause the board to not boot up. If anything, it would still boot up with a voice talkie error saying SD card not found.
That's
Titan
true.
says,
Lost his voice.
Titan's going, the suspense is killing me.
All right.
You gave a
guys
lot
are
of people
waiting.
care about your saber working.
All done.
You can do it.
Eject that sucker, pop it back in, and say another Profi prayer. Oh, you sound like a real installer now, Gabe.
Can you tell?
BK Sabers is right, though. It should have said something. So for sure your battery's okay. You didn't put it in backwards. Please tell me no, you didn't put it in backwards.
Put a brand new battery in this one.
Brand new battery. Love this elevator music.
Yeah, you never want to put that battery in backwards or you'll smoke some stuff.
Yeah, always take the right dose of your LSD card.
That's what we're doing wrong.
You want to have a good hit of nanobytes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, nothing's happening.
It shall work.
That makes no sense at all. That
Even with like a blade and you hit your power button, it doesn't turn on without sound.
it's not booting up.
Maybe that speaker's not connected.
Is there
Yeah.
is there another way to tell that it's at least powering on, Gabe? Are there lights on the switch and stuff?
Nope.
Wow.
So the only way to know it boots up is the sound through the speaker.
No, because it'll light up here on the emitters.
Okay.
So it's not even lighting up at all.
Oh.
No, it's not. It's dead. It's not doing anything.
Does
wow.
the switch illuminate when you power it up? Is it supposed to?
Nah, just a kill switch right here.
Okay.
And once you
BK goes, the Profi board is like, I've had enough of this shit.
Yep. I turn it on and nothing happens.
And you put the previous battery back in just because we
No,
know
I put
that's
a brand new
battery?
one in just now off the charger. I just took it off the charger.
Well, let's put the previous one back in because this doesn't make any sense at this point. Like, pop the other battery in there, the old one, just in case.
Yeah.
Something weird's going on, because it should at least the power button should light up when you turn on that kill switch.
Oh, damn, he's dropping batteries now. Hey, dropping power.
Chuck says try pulling the battery out halfway and then it'll reset.
Damn power switch.
Zoinks.
I need to get some more pins, short pins.
How far away is Gabe from you, Space?
Like an hour.
Okay. So it's not just a jump in the car, resolder my speaker, and go home thing, huh?
That's like me heading from my house to the ranch.
Dang.
Your ranch is an hour away from your house.
Yeah,
How far
about
away
45 minutes. 45 minutes to almost an hour. But if I go to my my cousin's ranch, that's about 2.5 hours.
Whoa.
But
Nothing
that's
still,
even bigger.
Gabe?
Nothing.
Dude. That
The
makes
saber
zero
got tired.
sense.
Saber
And
got
the SD
tired.
card is for sure all the way in, but that still wouldn't matter. It would
Yeah.
say SD card missing.
Yeah.
All right. Let's plug it back into your Mac with the USB cable because I want to see if it can see it again. Maybe we need to just re-upload the config, which still doesn't make any sense to me, but
Hey,
I'm
well,
running
here's
out of-
I may be wrong, but is there a possibility when he has it connected to the Mac that it sees the config, and then when he takes it off of that, the config is not being read?
No, as long as he hit upload to upload the new config, it should be in the Saber no matter what. Once it shows completion.
Hmm.
So uncivilized. I agree.
All right. I'm back on.
I'm gonna share your screen again, Gabe, because I want to make sure.
The INI and the temp came back in.
Yeah. Sure. Get rid of those again just for fun. I don't know. Well, that's weird. That means it's writing stuff to the board when you just powered it up. So it's doing something. Go back to let's go back to Arduino.
If it's writing it, could it be that one particular thing is hidden somewhere after he does all of that, that maybe one of the folders has that and it re-uploads it?
You talk about the
Little
SD
file.
card or the config?
No, the config, because if there's a file that file that you told him to get rid of just now,
Yeah.
and if it's writing it every time, if it's rewriting it back into the config something, maybe that's what's going on, is that there's a hidden file or something with that program that you don't need, and every time he takes it off, it rewrites it in there.
Yeah, no, remove. That's just like a preferences file. So by removing that window, it shouldn't make the Saber not boot up. So let's go to Tools, Gabe, in the top.
In Arduino?
Yeah. There's your board. V2, mass storage. Okay, let's re-upload again. Right next to the checkbox. I just want to make sure it sees the board. Because if it's not booting up, you got a new thing going on.
He double fucked it.
Yo, and now my chassis cracked.
Oh,
No.
What?
Yeah, because this
Why are you
chassis,
so rough with that?
this chassis does not have any way to take the battery out. So you got to like bang the thing to get the battery out.
We need to get you one of those Lego pry tools.
Right.
Because the battery fits so snug in there that you got to like tap it, and it just cracked on me.
No.
Tap,
Yeah,
tap, crack. Oh, man.
Well,
Bad the worst.
super glue is really good on PLA. It'll be brand new.
Yeah.
You just brush it on there and it soaks right in, and then it'll never break there again. So see, it's seeing the board, it's uploading to it. It's just, this is weird. All right. Done uploading. Unplug it and try it again, Gabe. This makes no sense. Now, when you said the button fell out, I'm confused. Were there wires attached to that button or no?
No.
It's a press fit button. Oh, it just hits a plunger.
Yeah.
Underneath. Okay.
Nah. Dead.
And for sure, that's now the original battery when we first started, and it's in the correct way. I know these are silly questions, but I'm running out of answers.
Oh, we got sound.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the full sound or is it like shaky sound? Because I didn't hear it complete.
Hold on. Let me see if I can safely put it back in the speaker pod thing without the wire coming off.
We're getting you a soldering station for Christmas.
I got
kid.
light.
He's got a night light, people.
So it's just acting wonky at this point?
Well, I mean, it could be because that wire is loose in there.
Right. Oh, I see. So the blades lighten up. You got blasters and stuff on your light?
Well, if he's got some wires loose, that's one of the biggest problems. Because
Yeah, I was just curious if the Saber's working fine, but it might be the speaker connection.
well, because when I was wiring up my Saber, I didn't realize it, but I had a couple of wires kind of like loose. They were together, but they were loose, and it was causing a lot of chaos in my Saber. And once I cut cut them and resolder to have a really good connection there, that cleared it all up.
Yeah, that's why those pogo pin speaker connectors are king, because then you don't have to mess with wires anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't. All right, we're done. We're done. I'm done. Now the other wire came off.
Oh no!
Oh.
These things are like spaghetti thin. It's like not even worth it.
Obi Dan says, "Come on, man, we want to hear that Saber turn on."
That ain't happening.
Right.
Jim
Okay,
says, "Eventually."
So now I close the battle.
Felicia says, "Sorry, Gabe." She's gonna mourn this failure for you.
It happens.
No, it's not a failure. It is just a minor setback, right, Gabe?
Yeah.
Listen. The only way it's a failure is if he gives up on it, and Gabe ain't the type to give up.
No, now I got to super glue this thing too.
So it ain't no failure. It will live again.
Oh, the poll.
What do you think?
In the poll, is Gabe ever going to get his Saber working? Yes or no?
Well, you got it working, and then we messed it all up again, trying to make it more battered.
Made it worse. Well, let me go to my config and at least save it.
BK Saber Sound says, "Next live stream, baby, we'll get it."
Yep.
Next live stream, maybe you'll take a shot. You'll finally get a shot.
So what do you think?
That's okay.
Space?
I took one for BK already.
Not to volunteer you for more work, but you think Gabe can get over there and get one of the pogo pin connectors in there?
What do you mean, like to connect the speaker on there?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
I don't know if like it's so tight back there.
Yeah.
I'll have to see. I'll have to inspect it again. Like JAD, they even moved, like it's so tight back there, they even moved so the normal, like I had duplicates of his speaker here. None of them, even though they're exact same speaker, didn't work with his because they had moved the contacts because the contacts were bulging out too much on a standard speaker, so they moved them.
I see what you're saying.
They
bent them in.
Perfect layout.
Wow.
So Look.
So even the solder bead like made it touch the sides of the
Yeah,
freaking
like even the
handle.
solder bead was like too
Wow.
much for it.
Jim says
Just doing
demoted
it.
to Padawan initiate.
Yep. Yep.
100 laps around the temple.
I could at least glue this.
You got to
fast.
lift 100 stones.
Yep. All
In
right.
the
Well,
dark
that's
with
gonna
all
have to
the
cut. That's gonna have to
spirits
cut my
around you.
night short.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Gabe. We'll get it, man. It'll be better.
Yeah,
better,
you'll get it,
faster,
dude.
Stronger.
Saber's not as
One of
strong
our
as the-
episodes, it'll finally work.
Yeah, but you know what? You'll get it. I mean,
This is one of the.
damn.
This is one of those
You
things
put up
where,
several
like,
videos with it being badass already, dude. So it's
yeah,
like,
But
This is one
this
of those
is what
things that-
happens when you start tinkering with it. You know what I'm saying?
messing with it
It always-
more.
It always happens.
yeah, but when you get
She's
that tinkering the
got
way
some
you want it,
great
it'll be even more
Oh.
badass. So
Yeah.
Gabe, do me a favor and send me a picture through Messenger of the pommel and the speaker bottom. I just want to see how they kind of mate together, because you can actually use they sell these pins on eBay, and I've used them in 2 builds now, where we can still get away with making a solid connection versus wires, so you can get in and out of there without having to stress about those little wires.
Send me
Really?
a photo so I could document this failure inside my photo album.
I wonder if I should do that for my my memory build. Shit.
BK Saber Sound says you're a member of the Profi Council, but we will not grant you the rank of master. Jim Smith says
Wah,
good
wah, wah,
sport, Gabe.
wah.
Yeah,
5
Gabe is being a good
Gabe.
sport. He hasn't thrown his saber across the
Jim
room
Smith
yet.
says yes, you need pogo pins. Pogo
No,
pins
that's not happening.
for the win.
That's not happening. I don't stop until I get what I want. Trust me.
Exactly. See, that's the game I know right
That's
there.
just my
You'll
nature.
get it.
That's awesome.
We gotta fix this speaker issue so that you can
No,
always mess
I've been
around.
through
without
this so
going,
many times, and then
now
yeah.
something's gonna break.
I'm like, why did I touch it? It was working. But then when I fix it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's way better than it was before. Yeah, send me those 2 photos, Gabe. I'm just curious to see those 2, and the bottom of the speaker, and then where the SD card and the USB are. I want to see that on that saber. Or send me the link to that saber where they sell it, and maybe it's in their photos on the site. Whichever.
Space, I just sent them to your phone just now. Forward them to because I don't have his number. Because I took him on my phone.
Yeah, well, you can always communicate with me in Messenger, Gabe, like we've been doing.
Oh, I forgot. Damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
That's so stupid. That's how you can tell I'm tired. I'm exhausted already.
Me too, and hungry. So I'm gonna probably have to jump out. I've been smelling food coming up here from downstairs. I'm like, oh.
Oh, that must be good. Yeah,
All right,
'cause
I
it's
just sent
what,
them
like
to you on
8
Messenger.
o'clock for you.
Cool.
Yeah, it's already 10
All right,
here.
gentlemen.
All right,
We'll
gentlemen.
get it, Gabe.
Thank you for spending time with me and everyone else, not just me. Saying about me.
Always.
But we'll get on it, and I'll see if I can come see you this week or something.
Yeah, I thought that was a quick thing that you'd be able to do kind of in the background. It turned out to be something
Me
we
too.
we're rooting for.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's set up exactly the same way Jeff says, so I don't know why we're getting errors and weird stuff's happening. It's
You know how it
very
is.
strange.
There's always something like real stupid. It'd be right in front of our faces. And we don't see it.
Yeah, maybe.
Watch, an hour later, he's gonna go, oh, that's what it was.
It was this period.
That happened to me with Jeff's saber. I woke up in the morning and I was like, I know how to fix it. So weird. It's that night process. So weird.
I'll hit you up if anything on Messenger.
Okay. Cool,
All right,
guys.
thank you to everybody that was watching the show. Titan,
Night.
Felicia, Jim Smith, Tom from Megtooth Sabers, everybody that was watching. Obi Dan, thank you so much. BK Saber Sounds for helping out. That was a lot of fun. I think we answered some questions. I will split up this video into some smaller clips so that some of these questions could just be like their own little like minute video or whatever. So anybody that kind of asked Gabe a question from now on, maybe he can direct them to one of these videos if it's the same question. Yeah, so thank you everybody for stopping by. Chuck Alvarado, oh look, it's Isaac, everybody that was here, everybody that's going to watch this video. Mundo, thanks for getting off work early and coming to join us.
Yes,
Jedi
sir.
Arms
No, thank
Dealer,
you for having me.
thank you so much for coming in and helping Gabe. Everybody that was giving tips to Gabe, that was a lot of help. I'm sure we could watch this video after and maybe get some of those tips that'll help Gabe program his card. Gabe, thank you for doing this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. My
Any
pleasure,
more
sir.
slews of questions come through, we could do another one of these. It's not the only video we can do on this. We can do more videos. You guys have more questions, let us know. We will do another one of these and try to answer those questions. In the meantime, have fun, saber on, saber the moment. I hope you guys really enjoy your custom lightsabers, get to learn how to use them. We're still trying to, we've been doing it for years and we're still learning on like what to do and how to work these. So there's like a endless amount of stuff you could do with these. So enjoy your sabers and we will talk to you in the next video.
Later, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Good night, guys.
Peace.
I have something here for you. It's the weapon of a Jedi.
And I am a Jedi.
You're a saber talker. Listening to saber talkers makes me thirsty.